Shalom.
Peaceful Sabbath. Yes, y'all gonna hit on the topic today, y'all, that's gonna inquire or consist of a little audience participation, because we're gonna ask a few questions, and y'all, these are to deal with the consciousness of Israel on a spiritual level and how to rightfully judge a matter, a situation that's not common to man. Ain't nothing we going through ain't never happened, you know, like it ain't never happened before, like this the first time you've been walking in, you ain't never walked in my shoes. No, the Most High's already seen the end of this matter. So no matter what we talking about, the end game is already, he's already viewing that. He knows exactly how it's going to play out. Satan knows too, so his job is to make sure your judgment is off balance. And that means you have more hypocrisy weighing up high on your measuring scale. Because he says his mercy and his judgment and his omnipotence is equal. It's a balanced judgment. So you got to be the same way in every matter that we deal with in your walk. Some gonna be different. This brother may have a whole different experience, but that don't mean his just balance has got a way out. Because it's still gonna be judged as such. So we'll start that off with to understand that. Give me some of that wisdom. That Sirach chapter 2. I'm gonna put it on the board if you don't have Apocrypha. So we just understand just one quick verse to understand how everything is to be looked at when you're looking at it with a balancing act. You talk about walking a tight wire or doing a tight wire act. You in the kingdom run by Satan. And you don't think you're going to do no tap dance. We ain't never, ever, these scriptures from Genesis to Revelation ever said or used the word compromise. We ain't talking about compromise. We talking about being a ninja warrior at the highest level, known to surpass mankind. How to wield this two-edged sword right here that cuts. You can cut a head off like ISIS. But that don't mean nothing, but they're going to be at the judgment, what we talk about. Right. But when you can cut, like Hebrews 4:12, we're going to hit right after this, and understand it from that perspective, and somebody live versus die, and you gain a soul, versus just cutting heads off, and all you're doing is going through with a slaughter. Well, you're going to be the only man left on earth. You're going to be in the kingdom by yourself. We're going to go to this Ecclesiastes chapter 2. We'll hit it right about verse 18, 17, 18. Just a quick one, and then we'll get to Hebrews 4:12. Let's start by verse 15 on that, man. Y'all, this is out of the book of Ecclesiasticus or Sirach, and y'all see that pretty good? You know, for y'all who don't have an Apocrypha, we study out of the Apocryphas or lost books that the Bible mentioned of. But our measuring stick is the law of the Most High. If those books violate the law, which is transgression of the law, is what sin is called. Right. If those books legalize what the Bible contends sin is, then you got to get rid of that book. Right. You can't even mention its contents if you can't explain it, because everything in the lost book is covered in your Bible. The Bible is a summary of all of those books from Genesis to Revelation, of all of those lost books. So these books, these lost books, break this down to day-to-day events and more fine detail. But if we didn't have them, they still contained in them 66, because they are summary. And in your walk, you get deeper into your walk and study more. And you understand a lot better. And it just fills in the gap But if you're dealing with our people, you got to come with this first. You can't come to them with the Apocrypha first. Unless everybody already got their King James, which it used to be. Mal got one sitting right up there. Say King James with the Apocrypha in there. We also have Joshua chapter 10, verse 13. 2 Samuel 1:18, speak of the book of Joshua. Study out of that. Specifically, the tribe of Judah. Why? Because they were the lawgivers. Right. Genesis 49, it fell down into the fourth tribe. Reuben tripped, Simeon and Levi tripped, so it fell on Judah. The scepter would not depart from Judah, so this is why we need to really understand and know Jasher, because Jasher is showing you Melchizedek, it's showing you when it transferred to Aaron, and then back to Melchizedek. It shows you how to use both of them in the thing, because that's what our Messiah was. He was a priest, he was a prophet, and he was the top king of all of them. That's why the so-called wise men brought those gifts. It wasn't just laying it out there. If Xboxes had been out then, Christ would have got an Xbox. No, he got gold for a king. Frankincense for what? Priest. And myrrh for a prophet. So that's what they brought, because they knew the captain of the host had been born. So y'all will tell me, we're going to read a little bit of this. Read verse, chapter 2, verse 15 of Ecclesiastes. Shalom, Elijah. Shalom. Y'all want to go back to verse 10, y'all say? Okay. Shalom, Mike.
It kicks right where you just started out, as you said about something before. Everybody there, Ecclesiastes chapter 2, verse 10.
If you have the Apocrypha, if you don't, it's up on the board. Y'all, it will behoove you to use that smartphone to get on Amazon if you don't have it at your disposal. You get it at a good cut right price. You know how you be looking on that for them John Michaels in?
You actually download it and take some of the apps onto your phone.
Right.
For free.
Chapter 2, verse 10. It's up on the board, y'all. Look at Josiah in this one.
All right, chapter 10.
Chapter 2.
Verse 10. Look at the generations of old and see, did ever any trust in the Lord and was confounded?
So that's the whole question whenever they say are coming at you. That's all you're waiting to hear. All of this other fluff and circumstance, you ain't worried about that. Can you show me in these scriptures where believing on the Almighty and His only begotten Son and the power of the Holy Spirit, ever a man was let down? No. Or feel destitute and say, I'm going to go try another God somewhere and it's going to work out for me. When you ever seen a man like that the Most High called, this is my friend, this is servant of mine, in these 66 books? And that's what they're going to be trying to come at you with. Guardian of the throne is more than a saying or a hook in a song. You got to know what that means, and you got to stand guard, y'all. Because this CERN is opening up this dark hole. We don't know what about to hit this earth right now. When they shut down or they knock a satellite down, guess what? Smartphone offline. What you gonna do then? I'm gonna Google this somewhere. The Wi-Fi crew in here. The Wi-Fi. No. It better be right here, up here, and then here. Let's get it now. What's that? I'll read it again.
Right. Look at this generation of old and see, did ever any trust in the Lord and was confounded? Or did any abide in His fear and was forsaken? Or whom did He ever despise that called upon Him?
See, and those are questions. So that giving the naysayer the opportunity, like Judges 15, verse 32. You got to examine that and see it, because that's an attack on the throne. They're saying your God's word has come back void. If we get that 1% of 99.999, if we get that other piece, your Father's word will come back void. We don't need all the 99. All we need is that 1/10 of a, for y'all to know math real good. Y'all know what I'm saying. That piece, if we can get that piece, that God particle, then your God words come back void. And we can deny everything out here.
Right.
So it will behoove you when somebody say your book has been tampered with and you still got it under your own. You can't just brush that off like that don't mean anything. Because it's going to be impossible to prove it to anybody if you don't trust it. Well, yeah, you know, I got some problems with Matthew and anything past Psalm 110. But what I want to show you, go ahead, brother.
Verse 11.
Uh-huh.
For the Lord is full of compassion.
What is he full of?
Compassion and mercy. Long suffering and very pitiful. And forgiveth sins. And saveth in time of affliction.
No, this is what we're talking about. If your thought process or your conscience make you reverse this process right here, if you're going to be like the Most High, what would Jesus do? What would Yahushua do? Right here, verse 2 and 11. If your program don't involve that, do that mean you become a pushover? No. It means go to them and tell your people exactly what's happening, but making sure what you telling them you ain't doing. Unless it's for the righteousness of it. If we don't, we're wasting our time. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 12.
Verse 12.
Woe be to fearful hearts and fake hands, and the sinner that goeth two ways.
Y'all see that? The sinner that goeth two ways. That's a fearful heart. That's don't trust in what you fully believe. The Most High said you got to be fully persuaded in your own mind. How you gonna be fully persuaded in my mind? I want to be like you. No. Look, you can't even be like Mike the Archangel. He'll tell you, no, but you can't be like Mike the Archangel. Them ain't the rules. Go ahead.
13. Y'all write this down. Psalm 37. Psalm 37, verse 25 to 27. I have been young and now am old, yet have I not seen the righteous forsaken, nor his seed begging bread.
Oh, well, that's good.
He is ever merciful and lending, and his seed is blessed. Depart from evil and do good, and dwell forevermore.
What was that? What was that?
Psalm 37, verse 25 to 27.
37.
Yes, sir.
25.
And 27. About the righteous not never being forsaken.
Y'all see, and that's what you got to stand on, and you got to believe that. If somebody make you believe the opposite of that, you wasting your time in this walk. Because you're always going to be on shaky ground and say a sinner to go two ways. When a sinner go two ways, he going to start justifying his transgression. That means you're going to find an excuse to get out of what you know is willfully breaking the law. It's one thing when you understand you're put in a position and you got to make some rash decisions for your soul.
Right.
You can't be trying to figure out who you think you're going to fool us, and then you think you're going to be just standing at the throne. And you're like, he going for it too. I got it. I'm in the kingdom all a lot. Go ahead.
13. Woe unto him that is faint-hearted, for he believeth not.
What does he do?
Believeth not.
Look, when you faint-hearted, you don't trust. You just in it because it's the end thing now.
No faith.
And you heard about this, a new thing, man. They say something about some Hebrew Israelites. Yeah, just holler forward.
Say shalom.
Shalom, man. Or you in like flipped. Right. Go ahead.
Therefore shall he not be defended.
Therefore he shall not be what?
Defended.
And then you'll find yourself on the other end of the spectrum. Somebody that's in a little offshoot religion, they'll roll you out. Because you're struggling to believe what you're saying you're practicing. What you practicing for?
Right.
Go ahead. That's like practicing to lose. You in a race and you practicing to be last. Wow. You hear the gun go off and you just 1, 2, 3, and then you take off. You practicing to be last. Go ahead.
14. Woe unto you that have lost patience. And what will ye do when the Lord shall visit you?
The Lord visited Moses when he lost patience with the children of Israel. Look, he had already seen, but that fear was already in his mind in chapter 2 of Exodus when he was trying to get out of the job of going to tell Pharaoh and the children of Israel. First he had to tell them, the Lord had visited me. I come to tell y'all. He like, they ain't gonna believe me. Lord, you know how this people is, they crazy. They ain't gonna believe me. Well, I'm gonna do this for you, believe. What I'm gonna do? How I'm gonna say it? And finally to the point where you know I stutter anyway. They're gonna be making fun of me. He like, well, Aaron is fluent in every language. He gonna be your mouthpiece. But yeah, Lord, he like, look, put your hand in your bosom. We're gonna quit all of this faint-heartedness. But then when he got out there, he told them, this is stiff-necked people got on the wheel they drive. Ain't nothing to eat. Ain't nothing to drink. We could have stayed in Egypt. And he lost patience and struck that right ill-advised. That's what Satan's job is. I want to see you right at the finish line and snatch it away from you. You know how somebody, y'all been seeing these things, somebody slow down right when they get to the finish line, put their hands up, 2 steps from it, somebody shoot. That's what Satan want to do. Go ahead.
Verse 15. They that fear the Lord will not disobey his word. And they that love him will keep his ways.
See, they will not disobey his word. And does that mean you ain't going to sin? No, that means if I know I done sinned, I'm going to ask for forgiveness. That's obeying the word too. If you sin, just acknowledge your sin.
Right.
You will obey his word. He never said you wasn't going to run up into the challenge of Satan and he may overpower you. You may have to give your life. This is the least of your worry. Is how I'm going to try to prevent this from happening. The deal is, do I understand it? And if they cut my head off for it, I'm going to stand bold at the resurrection.
Right.
With hope that wasn't in vain. Go ahead.
16. They that fear the Lord will seek that which is well pleasing unto him. And they that love him shall be filled with the law.
See how this goes right back to 1 John chapter 2, verse 3 and 4, John 14 chapter. All of this, if you love me, keep my commandments. Right. This is what you got to be filled with. Look, you the lamp, the law is the oil, and the Holy Spirit is the fire that ignites that oil and it burns in you. It can get out of control. You can try to put oil on that fire, and you know what that's going to do. Burn it out of control. You can be able to put it out. So you have to have this just balance to make sure that fire stay kindled just right so it don't consume you. Because if you lie to the Holy Spirit, you'd have been consumed by it, and you're going to be burned up. That's what Satan wants to do. If I can get you to lie to the Holy Spirit, it's an unpardonable sin. He ain't into this fluff stuff. He ain't into unpardonable sin business because he's dead man walking. He want a long line walking behind him. Let's get some more.
17. They that fear the Lord will prepare their hearts.
What they'll do?
Prepare their hearts. And humble their souls in his sight.
Look, that's what you have to do. That's what the training you have to go into. How to prepare your mind for what's out here. And it ain't nothing that ain't happened before. The only difference now is technology. But understand this. This technology can't compare to what was in the garden. Adam wasn't no caveman and just loincloths and running through their butt naked. It was the kingdom of God that he was supposed to dress and keep. That's lighting the incense on the altars, doing everything that priest was doing here when he showed Moses how to do it. It's going to be the same thing in the kingdom, ain't it? That's right. Those altars go down the same way. Go ahead, brother.
18. Saying, we will fall into the hands of the Lord.
Right.
And not into the hands of men. For as his majesty is,
right,
so is his mercy.
See, when you fall into the hands of men, they have no mercy. Like that cop down there that handled that young sister like that. And we don't ever want to have anybody thinking you know, disobedience didn't mean anything. But the bottom line, to exact that type of violence on a young girl, and you're a big 200-some-pound man. See, this is what the scripture is talking about when it says, when you go over the line. Because Israel has been put in this position, you go over the line and you treat them like this. Well, guess what? It's coming back home. And it's going to be twofold. But it goes on to explain Deuteronomy 28, no regard for the young or the old. What you got? And it shows you that in 2015.
Quick precept to that Sirach too. It's in the pseudo, now, for those of you who have pseudo, it's page 578. It's called the instability of life. Nobody knows what will be after tomorrow or after an hour. Death is heedless of mortals, and the future is uncertain. Do not let evils dismay you, nor therefore exult in success. Many times in life, incredible calamity has come suddenly to the confident and release from evil to the less. Accommodate yourselves to the circumstance. Do not blow against the wind.
Right. See, if you blow against the wind, you spit in the wind, and spit is going to come back and hit you in the face. So ain't no need you talking this or things you do against this word or its people, and it not come back and hit you right in the face. Yeah, just like when the crack epidemic hit, the meth epidemic hit that, and it became twofold of what we got in crack. Right. It comes right back. Then they back off. What was that pseudo what?
Pseudo phosphorus. It's in the second volume.
Second volume.
578.
What's the name of that dude?
Yeah.
Instability of life.
Instability of life.
Verse 116 through 121.
Let me put that. I'll come back to that. I don't think you say anything.
What made me jump out to the first time I read it, on the right side,
You got the precept. Sirach 2:4.
verse 4 is that
Yeah, it's right there.
What chapter is that? 2? Book 2?
Book 2.
Volume 2.
Pseudo folk collector.
What page? I mean, what chapter? Her?
116 to 121.
So they got the shit rocking on the precept, huh?
116?
Yeah,
116
to 121.
Actually, the instability of life, that's the name of that precept right there. It's actually in the pseudo photos.
That's what I'm looking for, the name.
Pseudo focalators. That's where it's at. That's the book it's in.
Pseudo focalators.
That's the tongue twister.
We'll figure it out after that. But, y'all, so what we're going to go over today concerning these matters is what is considered the biblical stranger. What does he play in the role amongst the children of Israel, his laws, statutes, judgments, and covenant given by the Father to his only begotten Son to give to us. Word of this word and versus the word strange. Because they mean two different things. If you can't give a definition of stranger and strange, so we get some understanding on the two, because guess what? Stranger is mentioned 211 times. In the sense of 90 to 95% of it is, if they believe what you believe, and they own the same covenant you own, then there's a certain way you got to treat them. There has to be this balance with the laws of the stranger. A lot of groups will say, well, those were the 10 tribes of Israel scattered abroad. Well, we got some problems because that's going to make double Gentile situations. And you're going to have to back up and say, well, yeah, those are Gentiles. They could be talking about that. Well, we ain't going to play along the lines. If you're saying that Israel is a stranger to himself after he comes back into the fold, that's a problem within itself.
Right.
When do the title change back to I came home? I've been born again. How that's going to ride all the way through the kingdom and you got still strangers in the kingdom? That's the children of Israel. No, you're not coming back. That's two separate groups of people. But we're going to clear all of that up, y'all, and we're going to get some understanding, because we need to understand when it talks about strange, what does what is the Most High trying to tell us when he called anything strange? Let's get it. What it say?
I got a dictionary definition.
All right, I'll put it before that.
All right, it says, one who is neither friend nor acquaintance.
What does that mean?
Stranger.
Stranger. One that is what?
Neither a friend nor an acquaintance.
Uh-huh.
A foreigner, newcomer, or outsider.
Uh-huh.
One who is unaccustomed or unacquainted with something specified. A novice. A visitor or guest. One who is neither privy nor party to an act, proceeding, or the like. Old French something.
Hold up.
Yeah.
Well, look, all those definitions he read, according to the law of the stranger, one of those definitions is going to fit the laws of the stranger.
Here go a stranger right here.
Whichever one it fall under, then that's the one it is. Go ahead, bro. What you got?
It's, in the Hebrew Concordance, 16:16. It's God, G-A-R, and it says a guest.
A what?
A guest. By implication, a foreigner, alien, sojourner, stranger.
So we see that that's outside of Israel. Yes, Israel has become a stranger in other lands, but that title don't stay on you after you've been brought back into the knowledge, or you've been brought back to the knowledge of self. How you still gonna give me scriptures that make me look like I'm still wandering around? So y'all, we're going to get some understanding on that. We're going to get first, y'all, because what we have to understand, this is a family. We got a Father, we got a Holy Spirit, which gives us the wisdom and all of the knowledge, just the power of the Most High, and we have the Son as an example. So when we understand that family, that marriage family, we got to first understand spiritual marriage. And then it'll let us know everything else what strange is, because it's going to be opposite of that. But now that we have a clear understanding of what stranger is, a guest, so to speak, or foreigner, then it tells us how to deal with them, because we had another example of somebody that shouldn't be around you. It's just like the word neighbor. If your neighbor is a Klansman, you think that you're going to be going over there knocking on the door, just wanted to share some John Simon with you.
Not at all.
What I tell you yesterday, nigga, when you come over here with that banana split. That's us to go back. Exodus chapter 20, verse 1 through 6. Did we get strange? We gotta get strange. Go ahead. Give me strange in that too. Yeah.
You got strange in the New College Edition, the American Heritage Dictionary. Strange, the first definition, previously unknown.
What is it?
Previously unknown.
Right.
Unfamiliar.
Right.
The second one is unusual, extraordinary.
Right.
Striking.
Right.
The third one, peculiar, queer. The fourth one,
Weird.
yeah, weird.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Not of one's own
Right.
or of a particular locality,
Right.
environment, or kind. Exotic.
Right.
And what is this? The fifth one is alien or foreign, lacking experience, unskilled. And then it goes into the adverbs and stuff in a strange manner.
Well, we see just so it's opposite of normal.
Right.
It's not what you're used to. It's strange. Cameo had a jam out there. She's strange.
I like it.
When y'all see it, you see what he say? Then I like it. See, that's the problem.
Right.
That's what Satan like to do. He want to hear you say the words, and I like it. She treated me like a $2 whore, and I loved every minute of it. That's gonna be a problem. Go ahead, what you got, bro?
Right here, it's in the Hebrew Concordance, 52:36 and 52:37. The word is nakal. Nakal. And it says something strange, i.e., unexpected calamity. Strange. 52:30. That's 52:36. That's 35. 36. It says a foreign or heathen, alien, stranger, 37, it says, 52:37. It says, strange in a variety of degrees and applications, foreign, non-relative, adulterous, different, wonderful, alien, foreigner, outlandish, strange, woman.
Right. See, so we're going to get to the scriptures that when it talks about these words, stranger or strange, there's going to be a law to help you determine how to deal with either one of them. So you make a fair and just judge. Because if you do everything all or nothing in this, you're going to have to explain that. And if you don't understand that, you're going to get it. If you don't understand that, it's going to be some problems in your walk because people are going to point out, why did this happen then? Why did God let me do it? And I can't do it. Y'all, so we're going to have to be able to answer those questions as well. You can't just water it back down and say, well, you know, the Lord do whatever he feel like doing. He does, but not by circumstance. He said, I got to judge you. Who ever been to court and everybody just sitting around? Who was this? Willie. What Willie here for? Shit, I don't know either. Case adjourned. Do you think it's going to be like that on Judgment Day? No, we got enough thing coming, y'all. He's going to weigh everything in the balance. Because you're going to have to be in a kingdom where you can't have no personal issues on your mind, no black-heartedness, no worrying about somebody you say, lock my mansion door behind you. None of that. Where we at?
Exodus chapter 20, verses 1 through 6.
Yeah, I'm going to speak through this because we got a few scriptures. And what I'm going to go through is our standards of who we are as a holy people and why we have to deal with the strangers a certain way. We can't be around certain things or activity. And we're going to get into the why strange is always tied to a behavior. But we're going to see the difference in what it actually means according to the law of the Most High. And it's going to be self-explanatory. Let's get it. Where we at?
Exodus 20, verse 1. And God spake all these words, saying, I am the Lord thy God.
That's right.
Which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other gods before me.
And that's plain and simple. That's right. No other before me. No, you can't put nothing before me, and there's a S on the end of that. So that's letting you know not only somebody calling somebody else a God, but your children, your mom, your daddy, anything that you put above me in a sense that you look to them like they can do some resurrection. You're wasting your time. Go ahead.
Verse 4. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image,
right,
or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or anything that is in heaven above. Slow down. Or that is in the earth beneath,
right,
or that is in the water under the earth.
Right.
Thou shalt not bow thyself to them, nor serve them. For I, the Lord, thy God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me, and showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments.
So we got right here, verse 6 is the kicker here. That lets us understand how he don't accept nothing outside of the scope of this.
Right.
You love me, you keep me first, and you keep my commandments. And then again, we see mercy gets shown to you when you keep the commandments. And y'all know we need some mercy. So we got to learn how to spread that to somebody else so that they may get a part of this, which is going to help in your lot. This don't change the rules of the game. What a covenant went through and who tributary is going to be paid to, it's just telling you how it's going to exist. If you don't like it, you might have to find something else to do. Jeremiah chapter 3. And y'all just get to the point of understanding the marriage with the father and the son, y'all. It can't be no whoremongering or running around with different thought processes in your mind. That it can go like this because I feel it this way. No, he tells us what the situation is, y'all. And that's why he used the term marriage, so you can understand this is a serious thing.
He grew up there, a couple of quick verses, they gonna take for a second, like, his precept that only the way you're supposed to treat a stranger. First of all, you want to see that real quick. It says, let strangers have equal honor among citizens, for all will experience exile of many hard citizens, as guests of each other.
Right.
But no one will be a stranger among you, since you are all mortals of one blood.
Right.
And a country has no secure place for men.
What are they getting? That pseudo again?
Yeah, that's in the first the Sibylline Oracle. Sibylline Oracle.
Pseudo what, first volume?
Verse 104.
104.
Zia, this is page 347.
All right, so y'all, we're going to hit a little bit of this Jeremiah, because I'm just setting this order right quick, and then we're going to move right into the law. We're going to get right into it, y'all. Most of us understand we got the definition of stranger. Now we just have to put the law with it, because the law decide on which definition you have. Look, like people say, well, the mistress is the outside woman. But that's not what the Bible says. The Bible says the mistress is the wife. So, because things are changed up in the dictionary, we have to go, the Bible gets the last word. You don't want to be walking around with a dictionary in your arm talking about, I can understand that. Well, in your definition, it's going to line up with the law of the Most High. Because you will choose the definition that gets you out of the trouble you in.
It tickles your fancy.
Yeah. Go ahead, Jeremiah chapter 3, verse 13 through 16. Y'all gonna roll through a few of these.
Reading from the book of Jeremiah, chapter 3, verse 13.
Shalom, y'all. What's up now?
Everybody there?
Chapter 3.
Chapter 3, verse 13. Only acknowledge thine iniquity.
Do what?
Only acknowledge thine iniquity.
See, y'all, we worry about too much, but I'm trying not to sin, I'm trying not to sin. If you do what he just said. See, the problem is, if I acknowledge that, then I mean I'm aware of what I'm doing. Can I just do it again and keep saying this? No, you can't. See, this is what the Most High set in place, so you're not going to play with me. You're not going to keep on coming to me telling me sorry. When you acknowledge what you do, then we see what you put on the line at this point. Read some more.
Only acknowledge thine iniquity,
Uh-huh.
that thou hast transgressed against the Lord thy power.
See, and when you acknowledge that, that means you come to the understanding of what that law means. You can't acknowledge what you don't understand. Look, that's why the Most High say, I affirm. Don't swear to what you don't understand. You can do that in this court. Do you solemnly swear to say, no, I affirm. I'm going to tell you the best I can if there's any gray area in what y'all trying to do to me or say to me. But if I'm stumped down on it, and when the Most High say, when you come to me with sin, once you know what sin is, and you say, I acknowledge what I'm doing like David did, Psalm 51 is about Bathsheba. When David get into that, he's begging, I understand what I do. Yeah, I know my mom and them come from the sinful flesh of Adam and Eve, but it's no excuse, Lord. That's why the Most High say David's heart is like mine own. You know, and that's keeping order of what the Father said. Christ kept the order to the letter, even when David sinned. Christ didn't ever have to do what David did, but he kept his charge. David is all other kings of prayer because David sinned, but David never even peeped at another God. His sons got out of control. What you got on that game?
Well, it seems like what the world has done with the 12-step program. How some people have been to rehab 5 times, but they've never done step 1, acknowledge that they have a problem.
Right.
Only acknowledge that you can, whatever the feeling is blank.
Right.
And that's what the Most High is asking us to do.
Absolutely. So that's all we have to do, y'all, but it can't be presumptuous sins. You can't like, well, all I have to do is say I'm sorry after I get through with it. I'll be good. No, he don't play. You can't play Russian roulette with the Most High. Your time will run out on you. Pretty soon, you spinning that chain, but it's going to be in there.
Yeah. Let me, where we at? Go ahead, hey, y'all write this down, y'all. Hebrews 10, the back of what Daniel's saying. Hebrews 10, verse 26 through 29. About presumptuous sin.
Right.
Hebrews 10, verse 26. Or what you call premeditated sin.
Right.
For if we sin willfully, after that we have received the knowledge of the truth.
See, the key word in that was willfully. That means everything was in your court. The ball was in your court. You had the choice to say no at this point. But you said yes. Now, what that's based on is going to be a judgment. Go ahead, bro.
For if we sin willfully, after that we have received the knowledge of the truth, there remaineth no more sacrifice for sins.
Y'all hear that? No more sacrifice for sin because you playing the game now. You got your trunk loaded up with turtle doves. Where you going? To the whorehouse. I'm prepared. Go ahead, bro.
But a certain fearful looking for of judgment and fiery indignation, which shall devour the adversaries.
Right.
He that despised Moses' law died without mercy under 2 or 3 witnesses. Of how much sorrow punishment, suppose ye, shall he be thought worthy, who have trodden underfoot the Son of God, and have counted the blood of the covenant, wherewith he was sanctified, an unholy thing, and have done despite unto the Spirit of grace.
Y'all see that? That's why we read earlier in that Sirach. It said, let me fall, don't let me fall into the hands of men because they have no mercy. With what we just read, if mercy ain't there, we in some trouble. You in major league trouble. When he say, look, you have to look at when he say, if you turn a sinner from his ways, you have a multitude of sin. That's on both of y'all. It ain't just him. Look, if you tell him thou shalt not commit adultery, you can't do it. If you was thinking about it, now that's off of your list. Because you can't be caught doing it after telling him. So the height of the multitude of sins is everyone you tell somebody not to do, guess what? You can't be caught doing it. Because guess what? They'll walk right up on you and tap you on the shoulder. You know.
What you doing here?
You in there too, huh?
Right. And yeah, I don't know what you say. Where you at? Go ahead, go get it. Okay. We're going back to Jeremiah chapter 3. What you got back there, bro? Spill it.
I got one of the precepts from this, I just read now. I got one Numbers chapter 15.
No, we're going there, bro. That's on the list. 14, you had, ain't you? Verse 14, we already know. We're right there. We're going right there. So y'all, if they on the list, I'm going to let y'all know. So, because we got an order, a structure, we're going to hit it just like that. We're going to hit it for know where exactly we're going, bro. We're in the same spirit.
Right.
So, you know, that's on the list. But that Jeremiah chapter 3, verse 13, where we at?
That's where we at.
Okay.
Only acknowledge thine iniquity,
Right.
that thou hast transgressed against the Lord thy God,
Right.
and hast scattered thy ways to the strangers under every green tree.
See, you scatter your ways to the strangers, y'all. Y'all have to understand what we are doing is what got us through out of the land. Now we spread that amongst the strangers. Do that give them the excuse to do what they're doing? No, they're going to try to use that as an excuse, but it ain't going to work. Go ahead.
And ye have not obeyed my voice.
What have we not done?
Not obeyed his voice,
Right.
saith Yahweh. Turn, O backsliding children, saith the Lord.
Right.
For I am married unto you.
What is he unto us?
Married unto you.
So y'all, that should put it at a different level in your consciousness. That when you sneak out and flirt with another guy, and they say, you down with Yahweh and Yahweh Shai, the Holy Spirit? Yes, I am. Well, you happy.
Not really,
Right. It's the same way in the grocery store. If they ask the woman, are you married? Yes, the conversation should be over at that point. But the next question is, but are you in my backpack. And they last 2 or 20 minutes, and that's all that happens. Because that's all it's offered, ain't it? What else is it? I got a nice home over here. You can quit working. You can tell your grandmother and your mama they don't have to work no more. It'd be like the gifts that Isaac sent to Rebekah now. When you understand what he gave them, and they was looking like this, they like, what you gonna do? They still ask, what you gonna do, sister? She say, I'm going and meet my new husband. Where we at?
Verse 14 continues. And I will take you,
Right.
one of a city and 2 of a family,
Right.
and I will bring you to Zion.
See, so we got to understand that this is going to be a remnant in this cause. Everybody ain't going to make it. But if you down here, and you got to understand that you have been chosen to save your household in the sense of spreading this word to them. It's going to get rough. You're going to be saying you're in a cold, but you are a light. Either you're going to become darkness to them, or you're going to become a light. But what you tell them over consistent by the prophecy is going to explain itself. Either it's going to happen or it ain't. They're not going to call you the false prophet if you're going exactly about how the word says. It's when you start to add or take away. Yeah, he coming back October the 3rd, 2016. Y'all can count it. No, this ain't like that old neighborhood talk when you see a boy running in and out of the house and you say, mark my word, that girl gonna be pregnant by June. You may be right. You may be right. But when the Most High says it's going to go down, it's going down. And he warns you what lines not to cross. Go ahead.
Verse 15. And I will give you pastors according to mine heart,
Right.
which shall feed you with knowledge and understanding.
Right.
And it shall come to pass, when ye be multiplied and increased in the land, in those days, saith Yahweh.
And what day?
In those days, when you be multiplied and increased in the land, saith Yahweh, they shall no more the ark of the covenant of the Lord.
Right.
Neither shall it come to mind, neither shall they remember it, neither shall they visit it, neither shall that be done anymore.
See, because why? Because Christ is going to be right there. He's going to be right there. Everything that was right there, we dwelling with it. We hanging out with it. Forevermore. Everybody is well, y'all, in this kingdom. Ain't no sick men in here. Ain't nobody needing a doctor. That's why you ain't going to have to worry about the Ark of the Covenant. You got your scripture with you. If you there, it's going to be all from the mind and the heart every time we communicate in the kingdom. Ain't no need for, wait a minute, I need to check that. You know, that nigga was a problem down on King's Highway back then. No, that ain't have to do anything. Let's get it. Where we at?
Verse 17.
We can hold right there. Oh, 17, go ahead, bro.
Verse 17. At that time,
Right.
they shall call Jerusalem the throne of Yahweh.
What shall they call it?
The throne of Yahweh.
Right.
And all the nations shall be gathered unto it, to the name of Yahweh,
Right.
to Jerusalem. Neither shall they walk any more after the imagination of their evil heart.
So right there, y'all, we see that in this kingdom. You want to go down there?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
In those days, the house of Judah shall walk with the house of Israel.
Right.
And they shall come together
Right.
out of the land of the north to the land that I have given for an inheritance unto your father. They're coming out of the land of the north.
Right.
But I said, how shall I put thee among the children and give thee a pleasant land, a goodly heritage of the host of nations? And I said, thou shalt call me my father, and shalt not turn away from me.
What? See, and the next verse get down to the understanding of why we're here.
Well, that's, can we just take it during 25?
You know?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
read it out.
Read it on out.
Verse 20. Surely, as a wife treacherously departeth from her husband, so have ye dealt treacherously with me, O house of Israel, saith Yahweh.
See, treacherously, that's plotting and planning the whole move. You would get at work as echoes when you get back home. Hello? 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 Go, right. Right. So, or whatever the deal is, the Most High said we as a nation of Israel did the same thing. Plotting and planning on how to hide from his law, statutes, and judgments.
Join ourselves to another God.
And join ourselves to another God.
Like tonight. Everybody from the church
Right.
like tonight. This
Right.
is a holiday to another God.
Right.
Done talking. We ain't ready to worship the devil for real getting down tonight.
Right.
Why you think it's about the babies?
Right.
We read the commandment one we read was have no other gods before him. That means don't have nothing in his face. You don't disrespect him by dealing with no other God.
Right.
That's why we here in this condition.
Right.
Folks think it's innocent now, it's for the baby. It was always about the baby. It's
Right.
about getting them young.
Right.
They revenge when they get old. And they were sacrificing children
Absolutely.
on this night. Feel me? Died for thousands of years. So it's always been about the babies.
Right.
You feel me? It's more of a spiritual sacrifice now, but it's still the same thing.
Get that innocent blood.
Yeah. Yeah.
See, that takes that wickedness to another level.
Yeah.
Powers of that realm open up when you get the innocence.
It make us as an adulterous woman, as a wife treacherously departs from her husband. That's the Lord comparing us to him. You feel me? Or us as his woman when we do that to him. Like when we go flirt with other gods, it's like you committing adultery. You feel me? You're going to deal with another man or something like that.
Right.
That's what the Lord is saying. That's how it's looked at. As a woman treacherously departs her husband, Israel, you did me the same way.
Same way.
You're dealing with all these other guys, and the fact of the matter is you ain't even sorry about it. Your only excuse is, well, I was raised on it.
Right. That's it.
That's your only excuse. And they don't even hold up in court.
No.
Well, I know it ain't right. Okay, so you acknowledge it.
And continue to perpetrate.
So y'all, this is where the line is, and the mercy on that will run out.
Yeah.
It will be gone like it left Saul when Saul was trying to knock on the door. And the Most High went answer.
I know you in there.
God said no, and guess what he turned to then? The witch of Endor.
Which one?
You gonna go to now what's been banned. What you think you gonna get from that?
Right.
The Lord banned that. What, you think you gonna turn it around and see I'm gonna prove it to the Lord? I'm gonna prove him wrong.
Right.
Let's get it. Where we at?
We're at verse 21. A voice was heard upon the high places,
Right.
weeping and supplications of the children of Israel.
Right.
For they have perverted their way, and they have forgotten the Lord their God.
See, once you push law, statutes, and judgments out of your mind, you're going to forget the law. Because somebody else's doctrine is going to be in there. Look, the reason he put us in this condition is to condition you, to prepare your heart to get over. It's why he always compared this walk like a woman in travail. On the day of her giving birth, she could die, bringing life into the world. So in your walk, Satan is going to pain you right before you get over and cross over into salvation. That's where he's at. That's when your test is right there at the door. Because the time is here. The hour is here. It's time right now. You are getting ready to cross over, but here this obstacle is. Right here. Just like a woman in travail, she's and she wants to see it. I want to see my child when death is right here. You're going to die. You don't even want him to take his first breath. You're going to die. Then happened, we read about Rebecca, our mother, Rachel, died giving birth to Benjamin. So it ain't nothing new, but the Most High want us to compare something to what it's like. But when you get across that, the joy when the nurse put the baby in the arms and the daddy smiles and the first word and stuff on him, it's all joy, ain't it? Let's read some more.
We're at verse 22. Return.
Do what?
Return, ye backsliding children, and I will heal your backsliding. Behold, we come unto thee, for thou art the Lord our Elohim.
Right.
Truly in vain is salvation hoped for from the hill.
Look.
And from, oh, go ahead.
Hope for from the hills in vain. In vain, y'all, that's worthless hope. That's worthless hope, y'all. We can't have that mindset that all I have to do is pay tithes and I can walk the streets of Jericho. That's all I have to do is do this one thing, and it can't be found in the scripture. When you done read that, go ahead, bro, what you got?
I remember back in the day, y'all, in this verse 22, y'all remember being in church and the rumors were, that's the backslider, that's the one that done left the church, and then it came back. Listen, verse 22, it says, return ye backsliding children. Okay, so he's telling us to come back to him. But in the church, that person that came back, there was a stigma against him. You see here where the Lord says, and I will heal your backsliding.
Right.
Behold, we come unto thee, for thou art the Lord our God. The people that have backslid and they come back what the Lord told them to do, and he gonna heal them, but you always still had that stigma. That was their backsliding. They done went out there in the world, they done did all this, now they done came back. Well, you're supposed to be rejoicing over that person instead of having that stigma on it that they never get to. It take years to get that off you. You know?
Well, if it come off, it should come off if you know the law, statutes, and judgment. That's why I say that's what you have to come back to. When you go back to church, you're going back to the same thing that you left.
Right.
As a dog returns
To his mom. Look, what you expect to get, you say, well, I've been doing this wrong, so I'm going to go back to the church. What is it they going to say that stopped you from doing what you were doing wrong?
The reason why you left in the first
Why you left in the first place. Come on, y'all, we're going to speed it up just a little bit. Finish that out, bro, because I'm going to hit a couple more and get right to the meat of the subject at hand, because we have to understand these laws and how to deal mercifully with them, with righteous and balanced judgment. Go ahead, bro.
Truly in vain is salvation hoped for from the hill.
Right.
And from the multitude of mountains.
Right.
Truly, in the Lord our power is the salvation of Israel.
Right.
For shame hath devoured the labor of our fathers from our youth.
What done devoured it?
The labor of our, wait, hold on. For shame hath devoured the labor of our fathers from our youth. Their flocks and their herds, their sons and their daughters.
Go ahead.
We lie down in our shame.
What we do?
Lie down in our shame.
Uh-huh.
And our confusion covereth us.
Right.
For we have sinned against the Lord our power.
See, and when they say shame covered us, when you lay down in sin and you lose your shame, meaning that I'm not going to repent about it anymore. That's when you lose your shame. You don't care who see you doing this. You've lost your shame, so now that heavenly cover your garment, now you're in full meat suit at this moment. It's about what I am. I don't care what the other side has to offer. This is me now. Your shame have covered you. And shame is something that, you know, when shame covers, when you lose your shame, when you lose that part of, I'm representing a brand, but yet I'm pumping bootleg.
They teach us that's what beauty is in this society.
Right.
Lose your shame. Give in to your inclinations, what you feel, and what you think.
Right.
They exalt those people.
Right. Absolutely. Go ahead, bro. Read and finish that.
express yourself.
Go ahead, bro.
We lie down in our shame.
Right.
And our confusion covereth us.
What covers us?
Our confusion.
See, confusion gonna come once you start justifying your lawbreaking. The Lord know my heart. You really putting yourself on thin ice with saying that. Because that's what he gonna judge your heart.
Right.
Now, if he know it is wicked, what do you think you got covered by making that statement? That ain't no plus in your collar. You go ahead.
People that's saying that are doing wickedness. That's when they try to use that to defend themselves. What I'm doing now is wrong, but the Lord knows my heart.
Well,
you showing your heart right now.
Well, like you said, what comes out of a man that defiles.
Right.
Either that's going to be righteousness or it's going to be wickedness. But if what he's saying is, Lord, when he made me, he knew I was no good. That's where the mindset can go.
That's where it is for the most part.
Right.
That's where it is. It's like, well, I was born this way, I'm gonna die
This way.
If it was wrong, I'm still breathing, ain't I?
Right.
He can kill me now.
Right.
A lot of people get real shallow and simple, so it's a delicate situation you're dealing with.
Right.
You're dealing with the mindset of our people. You know what I'm saying? You can't give them too much, you need a gun of them. They just so convinced that what they've been told their whole life is right. And that is in the Bible somewhere. You feel me? But look, the evidence is you've been being fed half verses.
That's right.
Your whole life.
Your whole life.
Like no weapon formed against me shall prosper. Nobody ever finishes the rest of the verse. What the rest of the verse is?
Right.
See?
Right.
You finish that rest of that verse off, and then you be like, oh, that put us in a whole other understanding.
Yes, sir.
But that was done intentionally though.
Right.
So we do what they call Christianity. They half verse you, seduce you, and draw you out all day, and you lose your attention. You feel me? So you've been fed that your whole life, half verses or understandings that can't be found in the Bible at all.
That's right.
And that's just the truth. All I confusing the Bible with church.
That's right.
Or with the Sunday doctrine church.
Hebrews. What verse is that in?
You all know it. Isaiah 54:17.
Yeah.
We always state half that verse.
Right.
We never finish it off.
Right. Like all of it, when it say, for he, what it say, he nailed the law to the cross. You know, or he, what it say, he put away the law. Well, what about the prophets then? The prophets is doing the law too. There's a part 2 to it. It's the same way with the non-messianic.
You see, he fulfilled the law.
Right.
Yeah, it said
Fulfilled the law. Right. What about the prophets?
About the rest of the prophecies.
Where we at, y'all?
25. We lie down in our shame.
Right.
And our confusion covereth us.
Right.
For we have sinned against the Lord our Elohim.
Right.
We and our father.
Right.
From our youth even until this day.
Wow.
And have not obeyed the voice of the Lord our power.
See, ain't no need us trying to fool ourselves into thinking that this ain't played a part in our life.
Right.
It's how you respond to this situation. So, y'all, we're going to move right here. We're going to move a little quickly. That 1 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 12, because it's something very important in setting up how we're going to go right into the law of the stranger. And we got to get a different mindset of which stranger is allowed to be amongst us. Because we'll let strangers in because we think we know them because they got something.
Because they smile.
Smile. Always offering you something. Don't worry about it, I'm affronted to you. First Corinthians chapter 6, verse 12. Y'all, we're going to line this up. And we're going to answer a few questions if y'all got a few questions concerning this. Because y'all, it's because of all the other doctrine out there. You know, when you read certain things about nations being wiped out completely. Look, when he say Israel and there thou shalt be destroyed forevermore, why we still breathing then? Don't you know the naysayers gonna go at us about this? Well, y'all done away with. It says y'all should be destroyed forevermore right there.
Finish the story.
Right. And if we don't finish the story, we'll be standing there with our thumb somewhere on our feet. Let's get it.
We're reading from the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 6, verse 12. It says, all things are lawful unto me,
Right.
but all things are not expedient.
What are we talking about here? All things are lawful.
Do whatever you want to do.
Look, the Most High said all things are lawful. There's nothing moving on planet Earth that don't move with his laws, statutes, and judgments. All things are lawful. Ain't nobody get to take the Most High creation and create a law for it. You didn't make it. You don't make the rules. You think you could go on a boat and sit at the poker table and got a spades hand? And you ready to fire the big joker off? Boy, you gonna be hurled up out of Where we at?
Verse 12. All things are lawful unto me, but all things are not expedient.
What does that mean? Go ahead, what else?
All things are lawful
No,
for
just
me.
asking the crowd participation here. What else does an expedient mean? All things are lawful. That's put on the table right there. So ain't no way to get around what Paul is saying here. Ain't no out. Paul even says those who don't know the law and keep the laws of the land and different things, is that not a law unto themselves? When they watch how the crops grow and sun, when they watch animals mate, they're like, well, that's always supposed to be male and female. Then they're observing the law of the Most High from that perspective. All things are lawful. Where we at? What's up, Dick? Go ahead, bro. Expedient, y'all. What else is expedient?
All things are lawful for me, but I will not be brought under the power of any.
So right here, the Most High saying, but not expedient means I may not be right there with that one just yet. But I ain't pushing it to the side. I ain't putting it in the shame category. I got to work on that. All of us, look, Moses had to work on patience. What y'all think he couldn't see the promised land? He was warned about his quick temper early. We were warned about some things and done it. The Most High said, you got to come to the understanding of these things. You give a baby milk and you throw meat log on him, what do you expect the outcome going to be? He's going to throw it up. So all things are not expedient, and you can't be brought under the power. You can't make this man follow the law of having a beard and he got the baby face. You don't have to come up with something to try to make people will shave that part every day, whether you see no hair or not, because you're supposed to have a beard. You can't be no Israelite man without no beard. Where is that in the law? Where you come up under this? Go ahead.
We're at verse 13. Meats for the belly.
Right.
And the belly for meats.
Right.
But Yah shall destroy both it and them. Now the body is not for fornication.
What is it not for?
Fornication.
Fornication means for unlawful carnal knowledge. Meaning bad spiritual sex crimes against the Most High. And it will move down to the fleshly level because you're definitely going to jump into your meat suit once shame take over. Go ahead.
But for the Lord.
Right.
And the Lord for the body.
Right.
And Yah hath both raised up the Lord and will also raise up his own body.
Read that again.
And Yah hath both raised up the Lord and will also raise up by his own body. I'm tripping. Okay. That's a big word. And Yah hath both raised up the Lord and will also raise up us by his own power.
If you don't have that hope in you, you're wasting your time. See, we ain't scared of the resurrection right here. All these want to see a Messiah right now that they just go with some man who just, look, Benjamin Carter and Hugh Mitchell was reigning at the same time on earth as the false gods. And neither one from either camp questioned the other. Exactly. About which one was the true Messiah.
Horse and pony show.
They just like, well, he could be the Messiah as well. What? So y'all in cahoots with this. Y'all gotta be. Have y'all ever seen Hugh Mitchell followers attack Benjamin Carter followers? Or vice versa? On who is the real Messiah? Is he in Demona or is he in Florida? He ain't in neither. Yo, so when you can peep those things and just ask them the simple question, well, where in y'all documentation that tells us if there be a man in the desert, you Floridaites, that we ain't supposed to go chasing? Well, where that's that in y'all document, y'all write in y'all book, or y'all in cahoots with this?
Right, Miami is like Bethlehem.
Yeah, some scholars say.
Miami is like Bethlehem.
What scholar you talking about? It ain't Professor Isaiah or Professor Jeremiah. I ain't seen that in their writing.
He winged that one.
Right. Let's get it, y'all. Where we at?
We're at verse 15.
Uh-huh.
1 Corinthians chapter 5.
Chapter 6.
Chapter 6. Okay.
Chapter 6.
Okay, I'm tripping. I ain't see the 6. All right, verse 15, here we go. Know ye not that your bodies are the members of Christ?
Right.
Shall I then take the members of Christ and make them the members of an harlot?
So a member of a harlot is any woman having sex other than her husband. Or a woman having sex that is not married. Now one carries a heavier penalty weight if she's married. The one that's not married, there's going to be a bit of permissive will that we can get into, but they must come to the understanding they can't keep on living that lifestyle. One day you're going to get your Rachel the harlot visit that you're going to be able to cast your mattress away. We'll move on.
God forbid.
Right. That's it. So, and what we see here is verse 15. Go ahead, verse 16. Read that on verse 16.
Verse 16.
Uh-huh.
What? Know ye not that he which is joined to an harlot is one body?
Right.
For two says he, shall be one flesh.
See, so the Most High is saying, look, when you flirt on another guy, you bring that into our body. You bring some of the laws, statutes, and judgments. You are bringing strange doctrine to the fold. Now, a lot of people use this script to say, right here, so it's saying a man can't have more than one. It ain't saying that. It's saying there can't be no secret. It's just saying, how you gonna bring me somebody that's messing with somebody else into our body? And you road dog? And I don't even know who this is. You bring that into our body. The Most High is saying the same thing. You're going to bring all them chemic gods, you're going to mix that. And that has legal homosexuality in it. You're going to bring that into our body so that can tickle your fancy. And you start licking your eyebrows at a man pushing elbows. And you're going to start covering your shame with that because it's in you now. It ain't never said that about polygamy. It just said it can't be no secrets. You got to look. According to for the well-being of his family, this is who we need to join us. I'm not a bishop, so I can handle all of the laws pertaining to this. But it can't be no secrets. He just can't show up. Tiptoeing, and you be like, well, that's how I thought I told you about her. What you mean I thought I told you? And what you mean? She said she's pregnant, you don't know if it's yours. Well, who the hell else can it be? Well, she was seeing a job. Well, you bring her into this body. You won't go out there, you bring that into this body. And now you don't know whose child it is. If it's yours, you spread, you don't know if this same seed or the Most High seed. You spread mixed doctrine. What child you think you're going to get out of that? This is what it's talking about when you bring strange wives in that loves another God. You don't know what the child going to be. Will he be after the Lord?
Son of Satan.
Or you going to have that son of Satan spirit because that's dwelling in you. That mixture. You can't get your balance together. Where we at?
Verse 17. But he that is joined unto the Lord is one spirit.
See, we one spirit. That's what it's talking about, Elohim. The plural, the word was with God, and the word was made flesh, y'all, and we can be part of that. That one body, even though we be many members, we one body. So, y'all, we can't get it twisted, and that means the Muslims could come in here because they read a few scriptures out of the Bible. Well, I heard him read some in Revelations. What the hell has that got to do with anything? Ramadan ain't in there. He still wants to practice that. What you got, Gary? We'll move on, y'all. Go ahead.
Okay, and I've heard heresies or like they say, well, they put the women down on kings, however.
Right.
Okay, well, again, women in this analogy is a false doctrine. Don't play with the But anyway, I'm just gonna let the script say what it says. I'd like to go here, Proverbs chapter 7.
You got that on the list, yeah.
Okay, well, that sounds
You
good.
in one spirit, so we get to that. We get right to that. Let's move on.
We're at verse 18.
You good there? You can hold that, or do you need to get it? Go ahead.
Flee fornication.
Do what?
Flee fornication.
Look, how do you flee fornication? You think if you run over here to this land, they ain't doing iniquity over there? Look, in the Holy Land, they lead in the gay parade. They have the #1 gay parade on the planet in the Holy Land. Where do you think you're going to flee fornication? Where do you think you're going to run to and Satan influence ain't there on this planet? You can't, ain't no location salvation. That's what we read in back in Jeremiah, that 23rd chapter. It say you're doing a vain thing when you run to the hills or mountains for understanding. You think you can run over here and that's going to fix it. And you dragging in all them sins with you just like that. Read some more.
Flee fornication. Every sin that a man doeth is without the body.
What is it?
It's without the body. But he that committeth fornication sinneth against his own body.
So y'all understand what fornication is. Fornication is the title word. Underneath that becomes all of the F-U-C-K, for unlawful carnal knowledge. Adultery, having your father's wife, bestiality, all of those fall under strange flesh. Right, go ahead, what's that? Sodomy, all of that fall under what's called strange or abnormal flesh that you're not supposed to be going to. It don't mean it's just, it means a woman too. That's strange because it's outside of the limits you're supposed to have in a bed, that where it says the marriage bed is undefiled, but whoremongers and this will I judge. If you don't understand that from this perspective, then you're missing the whole point right here. What he's talking about. Fornication lists a bunch of different things. It talks about which one or which area is it pointing out to. You got to be extra careful, y'all, that we ain't just pointing fingers and don't understand what it's saying when you get down to this one body, because people look to point out that we got to be guardians of this throne, y'all. You carry a brand name.
That's right.
Joseph though in Egypt.
Right.
Slave Potiphar's woman tried to draw down on him.
Right.
Tried to back him, seduce him.
Right.
He left his drawers in the hand, got up out of there. He physically had to flee. You feel me? So on a physical aspect, hey, there may be a position you caught in, you better get out of there.
Now, what's the difference between what he just said and what Ken Norton did in Mandingo? When the master's wife was pulling on him and rubbing on his pecs and deltoids and then he trying to beg, now, master, you knows I would have never done nothing against you. Well, that baby is yours, because it ain't mine. I know it ain't mine when you see the skin color on him. And the way he's strapped at 9 months. But he put him down. But Joseph ran off and would have gave his life because she put out a hit. He tried to attack me. So they threw him in jail. He was in there for over 2 years before things came to him.
And then on a spiritual level, flee these false doctrines.
Right.
These false ideologies, such as what's going on today. Get away from that. If you're married to the Lord, you're not going to be flirting with the Lord of God.
Right.
So you flee in that aspect too. Stop doing what the heathens do when they worship their gods.
Right.
Right? Fleeing spiritually and physically as well.
Look, you have to be aware what some people say. Well, some people say that they over there say, look, we don't care about what they saying over there. What does thus saith the Lord?
That's right.
Or you convinced of that before you bring what they saying over there? What do you believe first? That's what we need to ask before we go, oh, hell no, I know damn well they said that. What they at? Come on. Now, guess what happened if they put it on you and they standing right there? They go over on that side. That's what they was trying to see. Which one of us was right?
That's all it was.
You got to be fully persuaded in your mind. When you bring that, what they saying, I told them they was crazy. me because I went to such and such. They crazy, man, I ain't going back over there. Okay, good work, bro. What you standing there, they say, and you waiting for an answer. What you gonna say? It's just like the original movie Car Wash when Abdullah said what he said to Richard Pryor playing the preacher. Answer him, Red. I ain't gonna answer. Oh, he's a revolutionary man. Then they start singing, you got to believe in something. Why not believe in me? I'll be your God. Let's get some more. Where we at?
We're at verse 19 in 1 Corinthians chapter
You
6.
can hold right there, bro. We can hold right there. We're going to move it on. Run a little short of time, but want to get the understanding of the Most High has his will, and then he has what's called a permissive will. And that means if you come back right to me, and you acknowledge your sin right to me, the punishment is going to go down, but it's not going to be the death blow. You're going to serve some time. When David numbered Israel, he's like, David, I told you, don't number Israel. Don't let nobody know where we stand. What you trying to do, compare armies? I told you 10,000 should flee of Samuel. What are you trying to compare numbers for now? Oh, you got this twisted, David. For that, David said, I'm sorry, Lord. He said, but you know, you got to choose up. 3 years of famine or 3 years of this over here. And David, I'll take the 3 years of that. Cause the Most High forgive you. The whooping still go down. Where we at? Okay, let's hit, we're going right to Genesis 16 verse 1, y'all. We're going to move through what we're talking about, strange things, and then we're going to get right into the law of strange. The first thing we want to establish is what somebody's going to bring to you. When you tell them, look, we understand Israel's supposed to be with Israel. That's the law. We're going to hit that too. But the problem is, we got people, what it looks like is breaking the law, and they're called great men of God. We're going to have to be able to defend the Most High's word, that has a permissive will that's come in, and it wasn't compromised. The Most High don't compromise with nobody. You got to explain to the naysayer, this is not compromise. This is in his written word and law on how to deal with a stranger when he comes into the land. But strange behavior, there's laws against that as well. And we're going to see, y'all, where the Most High did some things that seemed like they were strange or abnormal from his law, statutes, and judgments that he had us do. So in Ezekiel 4, we have to understand. Eat the bread among the defiled. Y'all, you think we just going to be able to look the other way when somebody throw that at you? You think they ain't coming with them type? Them the type they coming with to shake your foundation. Man, you God, them saying y'all eat bread mixed with doo-doo? There it is right there. There it is. What you going to say? Well, that's why I only read the New Testament. You know, Ezekiel, he was a little bit shy in certain areas.
Ezekiel was high. They'll say one time, Ezekiel was high. Maybe he was tripping.
Right. Moses was high on mushrooms. He wasn't talking about it.
Here, y'all write this down right here. 1 Peter 3 and 15 and Proverbs 15 and 28. What Daniel was talking about, you have to study this thing to answer. You have to answer the
What's
nation.
that other Proverbs what?
Proverbs 15 and 28. And 1 Peter 3 and 15. The scripture tells you study to answer. There's a lot of people out here trained in wickedness.
Right.
You feel me? They whole purpose, they whole setup is to have you take your faith and belief out of the word of the Most High.
Right.
There's people set up like that, you know what I'm saying? And then a play on your conscience, how you thinking you looking at a contradiction. You ain't finished the whole story, you ain't precepted up, you ain't none of it. And then you done put your sword down. You dig? So the scripture tell you, if you're gonna be studying this thing, study to answer.
Right.
Study to answer. Because folks coming with they fiery darts. Think you believe in who?
Right.
What?
Right.
That's mysterious, God.
And laugh you the storm, y'all, that's what we can't stand that when they laugh. And when somebody laugh like that, you think, I must be a sucker. The virgin birth. Nigga, that's the immaculate conception. You should say, okay, now relieve your kidneys up, put some oxygen back in them. Tell me what the Immaculate Conception consists of. And then show me it in Matthew 1. It's that simple. Because the Immaculate Conception say Mary is top dog. Just don't say that. The Immaculate Conception say the son slept with the mama. Just don't say that. Right. Nigga, your laughing is in vain.
Right.
Now your laughing has turned to confusion. But if we ain't on our game like that, you start thinking, cause they bring it up, it happened in Egypt. It didn't happen in the Garden of Eden. It didn't happen in the beginning. In the beginning, it happened this way. We ain't caring about the Johnny come lately. Them Negroes trying to imitate what's prophesied to come. If you can't answer that, it's going to be trouble. Now you shame of the Bible. See somebody come and put it behind your back. That's a lot of Let's get it. Where we at now? Read what you just did.
No, that's it for that.
Okay. Y'all gonna get right back to it. Genesis 16 and 1, y'all. And what we're gonna do, y'all, we just gonna hit what we're taught, what is considered strange wives, or what we need to understand, what constitutes marriage outside of Israel. We're gonna hit strange what constitutes worship outside of Israel. We're gonna hit what's strange outside of clothing that we ain't supposed to have on. That strange clothing, the Bible speaks of it, not only that, but strange children. So we're gonna hit all of them to let you know what the Most High considers strange, not what we do. Because there's laws for every situation. If you captive in a nation and you think it ain't gonna be no mixing going on, you fooling yourself. Whether you prison or under free, if it's together, somebody gonna like somebody and some hormones gonna be ignited. But the bottom line is, it has to be some scripture obeyed. If that happens, we're gonna have some problems, because either we're gonna go strange or we're gonna obey the law of the Lord. Let's get it. Where we at?
The book of Genesis, chapter 16, verse 1. Now Sarai, Abram's wife,
Right.
bare him no children.
Bear him what?
No children.
Right.
And she had an handmaid, an Egyptian,
What?
an Egyptian,
Right.
whose name was Hagar.
Hold it right there. Give me some Deuteronomy chapter 7. I want you to hold that now. It's 7, 1 through 6. Because this is the script brought up. And we have to defend the throne to be able to answer. It ain't going away because you don't want to answer. You think you can block Genesis 16 out? That may come up. Y'all, that's the test for when you dealing with naysayers. You looking for what scriptures they don't have on their list to prove their point. This nigga will come on the natural order of birth, and Paul is talking about Hebrews 2:16, but he don't have Hebrews 7:14 through 16 on here. What that nigga hide? He don't want to explain he was not made after a carnal law, but a law of everlasting. What is that law? Them the questions I want to ask. I know about the 2:16 because I'm under that one. I was born under that one. This the one I'm concerned with. This one gonna make or break the virgin birth. They ain't gonna go to it. You know why? Because they say Joseph is natural dad. We can't let you see that one. Go ahead. Where we at, bro?
We're in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7. Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 1. When the Most High thy God shall bring thee into the land whither thou goest to possess it, and have cast out many nations before thee, the Hittites,
The who?
the Hittites, the Girgashites, and the Amorites, and the Canaanites, and the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites, 7 nations, greater and mightier than thou. And when Yahweh thy God shall deliver them before thee, thou shalt smite them.
What should you do?
Smite them and utterly destroy them. Thou shalt make no covenant with them, nor show mercy unto them. Neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Thy daughter thou shalt not give unto his son, nor his daughter shalt thou take unto thy son. For they will turn away thy son from following me, that they may serve other gods. So will the anger of Yahweh be kindled against you, and destroy thee suddenly. But thus shall you deal with them. Ye shall destroy their altar.
What you gonna do?
Destroy their altar. And break down their images. And cut down their groves. And burn their graven images with fire.
Right.
For thou art an holy people.
What kind of people?
An holy people.
Meaning what?
Set apart.
Set apart. Go ahead.
For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth.
So what the Most High say, all these nations was into serious idol worship. See, that's what he was telling us about. This is why you got to smite. You got to break down their altar. So is it just saying you can't marry them, or what it's talking about, these nations are into this worship of this God? They got altars. You got to break them down. So are we seeing this because all of these nations, somebody in Israel married one of them? Was it a broad statement across, or were they doing strange practices that he said you cannot come into a covenant with somebody with another God, or you join in fornication to the body? What you got?
Hey, this is another spot too about Solomon. 1 Kings, the 11th chapter.
Got that?
You got that? Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna hit that. Yeah, yes, sir.
Now, let's
I tell you what, go on here.
Go ahead. All right, first
Kings 8.
I'll read one. Okay. First Kings chapter 11. That's where we going next. 1 Kings, the 11th chapter, verses 1 through 8.
I'm gonna back that over to 1 Kings 8, but go ahead and hit that one. That was good. Okay.
This is spot.
Yes, sir.
First Kings chapter 11. Verse 1. How we looking? Everybody heard? Hold on, your page is flipped. 1 Kings, the 11th chapter, start at verse 1.
What is it?
It says, but King Solomon loved many strange women.
What kind of women?
Many strange women.
So what was the definition of strange? What? They doing what? So is this a known fact? That he's loved? That they worship another God?
Oh yeah, it's known.
It's known at this point. So what makes them now strange, right? It's outside of the covenant. How you in love with somebody that loves Molech?
Yep, falling.
We fall into that today when you marry somebody, they told you I'm practicing another God. I'm practicing this God called Allah. But that body is too fine. I can't pass it. I'll deal with it after the first time.
I'll take over reading.
Go ahead, read on.
1 Kings chapter 11, verse 2. Of the nations concerning which the Lord said unto the children of Israel, ye shall not go into them.
Right.
Neither shall they come in unto you.
So right here, they were on the list of Deuteronomy 7 we just read, right?
Yep.
These women were on the list, and it said Solomon loved them, and they were called strange. They were still into the practice that they were into. When you join one flesh with somebody, and they tell you up front what they're about, and you still put the Lord of Most High behind you because you're just full of lust and wantonness, and you say, I'll catch back up with this on the other end, you in for a rough night. Read some more.
I think they wrote a song about that.
What's it called?
She's strange.
Right.
I like it.
See, that's what we talking about that earlier. But you the one spirit, you ladies that know these things. You know what we're talking about. Go ahead, where we at?
Verse 2 again. Of the nations concerning which the Lord said unto the children of Israel, ye shall not go into them, neither shall they come in unto you.
Right.
For surely they will turn away your heart after their gods.
Right.
Solomon clave unto these in love.
After their what?
After their gods.
So they're worshiping another God at this point. He's telling us. This is why I told you don't do it if we have to go in there and clean house. Go ahead.
Verse 3. And he had 700 wives, princesses, and 300 concubines. And his wives turned away his heart. For it came to pass, when Solomon was old, that his wives turned away his heart after other gods.
What did they do when he did what?
When he got old.
See, y'all, waited till he got old. You know, couldn't enjoy life like he used to. When you read the book of Songs of Solomon, they say mandrake was thick in the air in Solomon's pool. And when you read what mandrake is about, mandrake is an aphrodisiac. It's what Leah took from Rachel, or gave Rachel to lay with Jacob, mandrakes. The smell was thick in the air in Solomon's courts. Why wouldn't it be with 700 wives and 300 concubines? That was root Viagra back then. Go ahead, where you at?
Verse 4 again, I'm continuing. And his heart was not perfect with the Lord his God.
His heart was not what?
Perfect with
what
the Lord
made it
his
not
God.
perfect, y'all? Wives was doing what? So now we got a question here. So does it mean any woman outside the nation of Israel, we understand when the law said you should not make marriage to them because this is the reason if they're doing what? We're going to get more deeper into this, y'all, so it don't sound like we're compromising the word of God. We know what it says about Israel. Yes, you should keep Israel pure as you can like all other nations do. Don't have a problem with that. But the bottom line, sometimes the eyes is going to see somebody of another nation. And is this the first time this come up in Israel, or is it the way the Most High deals with it? Before we call everything strange outside of Israel. Because it seems like most of our problems with our women is in Israel, not outside. That's what we seem to be complaining about. Go ahead, go ahead.
As was the heart of David his father.
See, it said his heart wasn't like David's. David never went outside. David did something else to somebody outside of Israel that was part of our spiritual fold, to Uriah the Hittite, that had shook everything. This is a general in the army of Israel, and he's a Hittite. You understand what I'm saying? He's a Hittite, and he's in a powerful position. But who is he married to? And that's going on in David's kingdom? Is Uriah the Hittite married to a strange woman? This is why David really killed him? Did the Lord answer it from that perspective? Or how did the Lord deal with David? Was it about, David could have said, shouldn't have been in the camp anyway? No. The Hittites. Deuteronomy 7. Get rid of all the Hittites. What is he doing with the Israelite woman? Too fine for that Amalek.
He got on David's head about that because the bride loves whatever I told David to tell him to do.
Right. Right. And David went to trickery. Go in there later to get drunk first. Because he knew what? That baby was in her womb. He had committed fornication. Some F-U-C-K for unlawful carnal knowledge had taken place. That's why it's always in capital letters. Y'all, we got to be careful on how we say that. How you going to say that to another man? Oh, man, for unlawful carnal knowledge, you. Wait a minute.
Right.
You went too far.
Right.
You using strange language around here.
Right.
What you mean you want to... But I'm looking like a temple prostitute or something? What is you saying with your lips? That's how every idle word, y'all, will be judged. Satan makes strange language cool talk.
Right.
Verse 5. When Solomon went after Ashtoreth, the goddess of the Zidonians.
It says he went after that God. Who taught him about that God? All of the wives that he was marrying that was strange. So y'all, we can hold there and get back to where we're going to set this up at. And I'm going to hit the 1 Kings 8 to go back over Mal just saying here. We just wanted to get to the point of where it points out what made these women strange of another nation. This what made them outside the norm of the laws of the Most High. It's not about the people individually, it's about his laws. What does his law say about a stranger that's amongst you? If he say absolutely zero, I don't care what the condition is. If this happened, Negro, you got your eyes fixed on somebody with another day, I'll put you down. He says, let's get some more. Where we at?
Going back to 1 Kings or Genesis.
No, okay, we finished Genesis 16:1, right back there, man. Where you at?
The book of Genesis, chapter 16, verse 1. Now Sarai, Abram's wife, bare him no children.
Right.
She had an handmaid,
Right.
an Egyptian, whose name was Hagar.
Where did the Egyptian woman come from hanging around Abraham? Sir, where she come from? Anybody out there? Where did that man come from? Huh? Where's she come from? Who bought it? Where's she come from? She just showed up? What happened?
She showed up and knocked on his door.
That came
What?
when they were, when
Hold it down, y'all. What says this?
she was given to Abraham and Sarah when they were being cast out of Egypt because the
Hold it
Egyptian
down,
king had a thing for Sarah, and the Most High was putting him on it because he was trying to get at Sarah. So
Right.
he cast him out and gave her Hagar.
Absolutely. She was a virgin in his court. And she said, rather than just to give her to any man, let me give you to a righteous man right here. So Hagar came out with the spoil of Egypt. He gave us Abraham a bunch of other stuff too, some cattle, some silver, and some gold. And Hagar came with her. She was just handmaid. She wasn't wifey status at that time.
Well, let me read this.
Still a handmaid.
Let me read this definition about handmaid. H8198 in the Hebrew. It says maid, maid servant, slave girl, maid servant as belonging to a mistress.
Right.
And then it says figuratively speaking humility.
So we see which one, right? There's always multiple definitions, but which one is going with the one we're going, because it seems like Hagar is in charge of this handmaid. It was actually given. Sarah was given.
Belonging to a mistress.
She belonged to her. And then when you see, she said, my mistress. She was talking about Sarah. But read a little bit more, man.
Verse 2. And Sarai said unto Abram, behold now, the Lord hath restrained me from bearing.
Right.
I pray thee,
right,
go in unto my maid.
So right now, if she's breaking the commandments, or some would say Mount Sinai hadn't happened yet. So Deuteronomy 7 wasn't yet. This is how they answer this right here. How you gonna answer that when Genesis 26, 4 and 5 say Abraham kept the commandments of the Lord? What commandments was he keeping? Are they different from Mount Sinai? You got to answer that question. Once you fall into that rabbit hole, read some more, man.
I pray thee, go in unto my maid. It may be that I may obtain children by her.
Right.
And Abram hearkened to the voice of Sarai.
What Abraham do?
Hearkened to the voice of Sarai.
So right here, we got an issue here. We got an outside woman told not to come in. And y'all got to understand, we were amongst dark nations before we was ever amongst light nations. Do y'all know the mockery that used to be? she married to that old black ass Egyptian. And the same way when you walk through the mall, if you had an Egyptian, sisters was looking the same way. That black ass with that black ass woman I can't stand, or with that black ass woman. It was the reverse. If you had a child look like Wesley Snipes, they was, look like he mixed with something to me. That nigga too black. He got some Egyptian in him. They say the baby by an Egyptian. It's the actual opposite of what you're complaining about now. It was there first. John Wesley Snipes, we'd have been calling him Redbone compared to him. It's some blue black ones over there. Go ahead.
Verse 3. And Sarai, Abram's wife, took Hagar, her maid, the Egyptian, after Abram had dwelt 10 years in the land of Canaan,
Right.
and gave her to her husband Abram to be his wife.
Now, what land were they in? Is that the promised land?
Yeah.
Is Abraham breaking law in the promised land? Is he breaking Deuteronomy 7? Or is it some form that Abraham, because Abraham had a servant at this time too, Eliezer, who was of who? Of Syria. Some say, well, that was Abraham's offspring, the Syrian by this wife or whatever. Well, the Midianites came from Abraham, from his wife Keturah. But that has nothing to do with the blood covenant who he's going through. Who has the blood covenant in Genesis 15? Who and what people that were given to dominates every other race on earth. The DNA is overpowered, male or female, by who gets the blood covenant. This is what the scrap is about. If it wasn't about that miscegenation, we'd be done. Because can't nobody in here say, Master didn't go up and I know for a certainty Master wasn't in my grandmama's closet doing what he wanted to do like he did Mariah Carey on 12 Years a Slave. I know for certain. How do you know 3 generations ago? How you gonna find that out? But they know because they put it in their legislation. 1/5 of that blood you threw. You all them. And they law, statutes, and judgment. They got the blood covenant. You can't miscegenate them out. 3 generations. And you're going to be back up. Why do you think they're so mad at Bill de Blasio, the mayor of New York? Yeah. Because he says, I have to teach my son, I have to give him the laws of Israel. When the police stop you, this is what you do. Because he's sitting there with his son, got this Dr. J afro and looking like Davy Ellis. He's like, they're going to be on your head. I got to give you this law. Yeah, I'm your daddy, but your mama's DNA, that Israelite DNA, has overpowered you.
That comes with instructions.
And you in this nation that has no regard for what you look like and who you come to because they know who you are. And they are basically blasting him because he had that discussion with his son. And they shouldn't have married. And we're going to be discussing this. And these police will be doing a fine job. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 4. And he went in unto Hagar.
Right.
And she conceived.
What she do?
She conceived. And when she saw that she had conceived, her mistress was despised in her eyes.
So who was her mistress? Who was it talking about? Who was the her and who was the mistress?
Sarah.
Sarah was despised because she like, damn, she got pregnant that quick. Damn, I've been with Abraham since we was children. My womb is truly dead. And the angel had told her before, you're going to have a child, and she laughed about it. Right. See, so the wheel of this had to come back into play, but what we're trying to establish here is Abraham's in the promised land, and he's with a handmaid that was given to him for wife. 1 or 2 things had to happen. She was at this point no longer strange, and is only mentioning her ethnicity, her tribal origin as being an Egyptian, but it never says those of whom in the future I don't want you messing with. She was under Abraham's household, under his instruction.
Father of many nations.
Father of many nations, but what did Abraham teach Ishmael? You think he taught him the Quran? He taught him the commandments of the law. He taught Esau that.
Right.
He never taught any different for the Most High to say, he's my partner, he's my friend. Genesis 26. He kept my charge and my commandments. So we got to ask ourselves, was Hagar at this point a strange woman? Now, she used that to her advantage against Sarah, but she said, maybe I can have a child through her. And what the law was to do is right when she get ready to deliver birth, Sarah would sit down on the birth stool and sit Hagar on top of her. And when she had a baby, it's like it's coming out of Sarah. That was the surrogate mother. That's the way they did it back in the days.
They did it in slaves.
So that's the way that was. She said, if I can sit up on my knees, maybe Abraham had a child for me. It'll be just like my child. And we got a law for that about if a brother died and have no children. His brother, whether he married or not, got to go into his brother's wife, ex-wife, or widow now, and have a child by her. And that child belongs to him. Couldn't be no white fat mouth. Oh, I know she killed that nigga so she can get with you. Y'all don't think so? Y'all know us. Ain't no need we fooling ourselves. Go ahead.
We in Genesis 16. Genesis 16.
We can hold up now. I can hold up. Let's go to just a couple more. We're going to hit these. Genesis 41, 38. Y'all, we're just going to read a couple quick of these and then we're going to get right to the law of the strange. Y'all, while we got a little time, just 35 minutes.
Genesis 41 and what?
And a bunch of seconds. Genesis 41, 38. And y'all, we're just moving through because Abraham was under the order of Melchizedek. So this is what we need to understand. When the Most High, there was building nation time like it's going to be. In 1 Corinthians 15, 51, Isaiah 4, we're going to get back to building nation time. But everybody's mind going to be straight. And then we're going to hit everything of the law of the stranger so you know what stranger is talking about that may find themselves amongst you, that you were amongst strangers. And that's what he keeps telling us. He said, remember, y'all were strangers in Egypt. And y'all got helped out.
The strangers left with us too.
Right. And you know, and y'all were strangers in this land. Somebody helped out. Y'all think Frederick Douglass could have made that speech he made without the help of some strangers that was in his corner? Right. You don't think they knew what he was going to say? He sprung it on the ones that didn't know, but he had already told his people, I'm going to spring it on them. They like, have that. Have that. Go ahead, brother.
Genesis chapter 41, verse 38.
What it say?
And Pharaoh said unto his servants,
right?
Can we find such a one as this is, a man whom the Spirit of Yahweh is? And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, For as much as Yahweh has showed thee all this.
Right. Who say showed him?
Yahweh.
Right.
All this, I'm sorry. 39 again. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, For as much as Yahweh has showed thee all this,
right,
there is none so discreet and wise as thou art. Thou shalt be over my house.
What shall you be?
Over my house.
So y'all seeing what right here now, what Joseph did and broke that dream down to Pharaoh that his magicians couldn't do. He like, man, I got to put you in charge of everything. These Negroes been doing some bootleg magic. These Negroes been fooling me with the carbonara effect. Go ahead.
And according unto thy word,
right,
shall all my people be ruled.
Right.
Only in the throne will I be greater than thou.
So y'all see what he's saying? He's saying, but know this, you only gonna be second in command. And this is what we got to understand. When the Most High set a kingdom up, he set that kingdom up so he can take it down. That's why he couldn't excel past second in command. That's why Daniel, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego didn't go to the top level and run Babylon. He said, I take the powerhouse down. When I take it down, all the other nations get in line. Because y'all know to turn y'all back in a minute. You Negroes are sell out for a cold pork chop sandwich. Y'all ain't gonna profane my name no more. Right. How is you getting is level 2 in these kingdoms that I set up so I can put my power on? Go ahead, where we at?
Verse 41.
Look, think about this. Ain't no other nation dropped nuclear on earth yet. And America dropped that in the 40s, 50s. And that was hydrogen nuclear. Now thermonuclear bomb this big is equivalent to 250 of them. What you think you gonna do with this power here? Who can make war with him but the Most High and the righteous saints that will come back and get a chance? You can't do that in your wicked mindset right now. You want to slay that police because you had bad stickers and he pulled your head with OJs and stuff and dressed up? He tripping. That nigga know I got tickets there on the dash. You got bad stickers over there. You gonna tow the car. You gonna sword in your hand now. That's what you gonna have in the car. Messiah with a sword in your hand, you're going to know what that Psalm 139, you're going to have perfect hatred in your heart. Perfect hatred. Ain't going to be no player hating in your heart. Go ahead.
Verse 41. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, see, I have set thee over all the land of Egypt.
Right.
And Pharaoh took off his ring from his hand,
Right.
and put it upon Joseph's hand, and arrayed him in the vestures of fine linen.
Okay, now we got a problem. We got on clothes of somebody else in their kingdom. What vestures you think he had on? You think he put on in a fringe outfit? You think that ring was like the breastplate of Aaron?
Right.
It was solid gold, but we have to understand what that ring had an insignia on it. It was like the Golden Republic. That's all it was. You can stamp whatever you say. You stamp that ring, I know your word is bond. Ain't even question.
Right, some type of
Ain't even question.
Egyptian something on the ring.
But understand that what he had vowed to and what he told his people, he's keeping prophecy whether we like it or not, because he knows. It's already written. Your God gonna come in when another Pharaoh rise up, he gonna deliver y'all from us. We already got an our scroll. I just don't want it to be me that he do it to. And there was another Pharaoh that rose up that didn't know Joseph. And he started putting that heat on us. In the book of Jasher, it says, when you couldn't meet your quota, they went and got your children. No matter how old they were. You got a son 5 years old, guess what he got to do? Get in that straw pit and make brick. And when he couldn't make it, they put him in the wall in the place of bricks. And kept building what they were building.
They did the same thing with the cotton plantation.
Same thing with the cotton plantation. Same way. You can't get it, you got the pause and power. That's what they were talking about Fiddler, but he died on them too quick. Fiddler he ain't getting it no more. Coming in with 30 pounds the other day. I don't care if they're 112. He can't get it no more. We're starting to feed him and he ain't worth nothing. Give him the poison power. But Fiddler played him a song and gave up the ghost. But one time you put on you more than you can bear. When you say you're tired, he'll leave. Okay. You had enough of this? Okay. Now you got to hope your books in order at the resurrection.
That's right.
He's not going to put on you more than you can bear. Let's get some more. Where we at?
Still verse 42. And arrayed him in vestures of fine linen.
Right.
And put a gold chain about his neck.
What kind of on his neck?
A gold chain.
Y'all, we love that, don't we, y'all? Y'all think that just started? They know what you like. Look, if somebody know what you like, they got what all they offer and all the rappers. Yeah. A gold chain, a Cadillac, 2 chains, 2 cartons of coons, all the liquor you can drink. Go ahead. 43. And he made him to ride in the second chariot which he had. The what chariot?
The second chariot.
Right.
And they cried before him.
Right.
Bow the knee. And he made him rule over all the land of Egypt. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, I am Pharaoh.
Right.
And without thee shall no man lift up his hand or foot in all the land of Egypt.
Right.
And Pharaoh called Joseph's name Zaphnath-Paneah.
Y'all hear that? So y'all think we name changing just started too? They changed our names. So now we got an issue here. What is going on? Who was that name named after? What does that name or title mean? Zaphnath-Paneah. What does that mean? Because that's how he was going to be identified as. Is that some form of righteousness in the eyes of Pharaoh? What has anybody took the time out to ask what that name means? Because whatever name you have on it is still the spirit that's residing inside of Joseph. That name ain't gonna mean nothing.
That's right.
The name means your Bible.
Right. But what we're saying is y'all. That's why when it said, do you know the name of the Lord? Somebody tell you it's Yahashua, it's Yehoshua, it's Yahweh, it's this, it's that. If what's dwelling in you inside, the name you calling don't mean nothing. If that power inside of you, you're going to get a title of somebody else. Do you know what those titles mean? That means this is a bond servant when you're named after another nation. You get named what they name you instead of our forefathers naming us. What other people on earth fit that description? Who in here? Walkers, Johnson, Williams, Jeffersons. Who name you got? Read some more.
And he gave him to wife.
Who he give him?
And he gave him to wife.
Right.
As a rod. As a ray. As a ray. Oh, I'm sorry, I skipped the line.
Go ahead, bro.
The daughter of Potiphar, Potiphar,
Right.
priest of On.
Priest of who?
On.
So this daughter, he gave him the daughter of this priest. The priest of On. Who was On?
God of Egypt.
God of Egypt. So he gave him his daughter. So where we at now, y'all? Where we at now? We still under the order of Melchizedek. Because Mount Sinai ain't happening yet. Joseph is moving through this vibration. Okay? So y'all, what we're seeing here is what is different that's happening here than what Mal just read at 1 Kings 11 chapter. What's the difference? How is one accepted and the other one ain't? Hold down, speak a little louder, man.
Solomon was given to his wife, God was opposed, but Joseph got the fire most high on him, and he's cast falling down to his God.
Y'all hear that? He said, Solomon bowed to their God. This generation and this priest daughter of On is bowing to him. He said, I gave you permission. You override the priest of On. You override all that. Whatever you say, word is bond. But still, in the sense, you're in Egypt. He still got advisors. They're going to be coming at him. That he who can never control you put in command. That Negro now has Egyptians in the mud pit. That Negro's gone crazy. And you put him in charge. Will not thou have a revolt here in Egypt over a Hebrew slave? What he gonna do but keep listening to his advisors and like, yeah, you may be right there. And that's what happens. You get convinced, and that's what hardens your heart. Because it's written. They're going to overthrow you. The one you get charged going to be the one that overthrow this kingdom and have us in chains. Y'all want y'all see the same thing is happening now? This is what they're scared of, this government. If you give them power, they're going to overpower us. They're going to take the house. We got to set up a Pharaoh that agrees with whooping that ass. We don't care what you're doing.
That's right. That's right.
You texting and driving, we kill you. You fat mouth back at the police, we got a law now called comply or die. Whatever I tell you to do. Nigga, get out and run around this car 6 times. Get back in, put it in reverse. If you don't, I'm going to tame you. And then I'm going to kill you. Go ahead, where we at?
And Joseph went out over all the land of Egypt.
Right.
And Joseph was 30 years old when he stood before Pharaoh, king of Egypt.
We can hold that. Let's move Exodus chapter 2, verse 16. Y'all, we're just going to hit these few, and then we're going to be right into the law of the stranger, y'all, so we can understand. So when I ask the question again, what's the difference between Joseph and Solomon? Solomon is in his own kingdom. Joseph in somebody else's kingdom. Right. He had to put on their garb. We understand what our garb was. Jason probably pulled it off like a uniform when he got home, tossed it to the side, those Egyptian garbs. And he probably dressed in his Hebrew stuff when he got off of work. Right. Now you got to discuss with them if they're going to let us alter their uniform. Or just having your uniform on in another kingdom, if you got yours on, you can't move and you can't do the commandments of the Most High. Does clothing stop you from righteousness? Does clothing of somebody else condemn you of righteousness?
Everybody here got on Levi's.
Right.
It's like you put that American uniform with the American flag on it because that's your job.
Yeah. Y'all, but the bottom line is they know Satan know the rules. He said, I'm not gonna never block you from serving your God. If I do, I can't accuse you. I'm gonna see, do you know what just balance is? I walked among the stones of fire. I know what just balance is. And I know when you niggas gonna go for the okie doke. I got a third of the angels to fall with me before you Negroes was thought about. Then I conned the 200 angels that came down to watch over y'all. I got in their head. And you Negroes fat mouthing around here and can't name off the 10 Commandments. Y'all think Satan is Goliath? Y'all sadly mistaken. Go ahead.
You said 2 and what? Exodus 2 and what?
2 and
17?
16.
16?
Yeah. Y'all, we're going to speed this up just a bit, y'all. I just want to get into these situations because I'm not bringing these to you to make it sound. What I'm bringing to you is the naysayer going to bring it to you. They're going to ask you how you explain it. So when you scratching your head and it makes you start to sing like, see, nigga, you a black separatist. Nigga, you this and you this. But what I'm showing you is just not we had this problem. This problem started off with dark-skinned people. Right. What you vent at somebody with a white woman, a Chinese one, or whatever, that was first with somebody that looked almost the skin color you are. We had to look at them the same way. You have to look at them if you, because I look at them, bitch. If you see them come through with an African woman, I don't care what she look like, or the skin color dark, you better be saying the same thing, or you don't have just judgment.
Don't the scripture say that they learn to proclaim all that
Who us? Who you learn better than from your own?
That's Ezekiel, Ezekiel 36.
That's right. Let's get it, y'all. Look at it.
Exodus chapter 2, verse 16.
What it say?
Now the priest of Midian had 7 daughters.
Who had, what he had?
Now the priest of Midian had 7 daughters.
Right.
And they came and drew water.
Who was the priest of Midian? See, understand what we got here. We got a priest in the land of Midian. Who are the Midianites? Where they come from? Who? Where they come from? Come from Abraham, his wife after Sarah, Keturah. The father of the Midianites, this Jethro. But the difference is he chasing another law or what's going on? Is this priest of Midianite worshiping another god? You can get into some more scripts about that, but we're going to get to the heart of the matter. Go ahead, bro.
Now the priest of Midian had 7 daughters, and they came and drew water and filled the troughs to the water their father's flocks.
Right.
And the shepherds came and drove them away.
See, so his daughters was getting water and some shepherds, some more Midianite shepherds came and drove. Get away from here. Right. Fellas got to do this. Fellas first. Get the hell out of the way. Go ahead. What it say?
And the shepherds came and drove them away, but Moses stood up and helped them.
What Moses
and watered
did?
their flocks. He helped them.
Now, this is somebody else's 7 daughters. They didn't say these were children of Israel. This is just he saw wrong being happened to whoever. Look, y'all, if we get to the point that where we look at somebody else and something is happening to them and we turn a blind eye to it, you still sinning.
Right.
Go ahead. You know why? Because it's going to happen what happened with Moses when Moses killed the Egyptian. And then when he saw 2 Israelites slugging it out, he like, how on y'all brothers? Nigga, step back, nigga. Nigga, murderer, Egyptian murderer, nigga, step back. And what Moses said?
Picture that in desert with hot sun.
I'm trying to help these brothers. Now they against me. About these niggas crazy. Yeah. Go ahead.
18. And when they came to Ruel, their father, he said, how is it that ye are come so soon today? And they said, an Egyptian delivered us out of the hand of the shepherds, and also drew water enough for us and watered the flock.
Why did they call him an Egyptian instead of a Hebrew? See, Egyptology will use this on you and say, see right there, I've been telling you about that Bible. Moses was an Egyptian. Your book just called him that right there. And what you gonna do be looking at it like this if you ain't prepared yourself?
He should have had on Egyptian clothes.
And what he have on? What was he dressed out in?
Egyptian
He
clothes.
was dressed out in Egyptian garb. That's what they looked at first because skin color wasn't a problem. You in this region, everybody from high yellow to blue black. Right. Let's read some more.
And verse 20. And he said unto his daughters, and where is he? Why is it that ye have left the man? Call him, that he may eat bread. And Moses was content to dwell with the man, and he gave Moses Zipporah, his daughter.
What did he give him?
Zipporah, his daughter.
Okay, so this is Midianite daughter. His brothers and his sisters, look, jumped on his head. That's all I wanted to show y'all. And then go ahead and read a little bit more because I want to see the first one son. Go ahead.
22. And she bare him a son, and he called his name Gershom.
Right.
For he said, I have been a stranger in a strange land.
See? Gershom. So he said, I was a stranger in a strange land. So this is why we naming him that. I ain't forget about where I was. Now my firstborn, I'm in a strange land with hospitality. You know, but this the deal. Her daddy wasn't fully persuaded in the God of Abraham because he had her violate, or him when you read the book of Jasher, the covenant. Don't circumcise the boy. Leave him with me. Let me play with him a little while. Y'all can do it. 8th day was the rule. Guess who folded? Moses folded, not Zipporah. Because she the one circumcised when the Lord said, don't send the angel to kill Moses. This boy's hard-headed. He got the favor here. This nigga breaking rules already. Go down there and kill him. But Zipporah saw the angel with the sword. She grabbed a sharp stone, snatched that panther off, and went to her. And threw the foreskin at his feet. Thou bloody husband, you done forgot the rules of your God. So now when somebody point out that's why he married an Egyptian, and they tried to get on Aaron and Miriam's side, because that's why they was on his head. Nigga, you just married that Egyptian shit. You think you the only one God like? So they knew the laws as well. You know, so they're attacking him, but they don't know what she done done. You wouldn't even be talking to Moses. The captain of the host was here to put him down about disobedience. How you gonna go to Pharaoh and Pharaoh does come in here with the laws of the Most High God? Summon the baby. And they snatched that pamper off and they're looking like you got on the hoodie. He'd been like, you violated your dad. Hoodie. Yeah. No circumcision. Where we at? It would have been like that. Now that would have been strange flesh. Right. You in here talking about giving orders and your baby got strange flesh on. Right.
You want those last three?
No, we can hold that. Ruth chapter 2 verse 10. Ruth. Y'all, then we're going to get right into the law of the stranger, and then I'm going to hit you right for what strange means and when we perform strange things. And we're going to all see it. We're going to definitely hit the Ezra. We have to hit the Ezra thing because that's the number one thing. And we're going to see where priests were ordered their daughters, if they got divorced from a stranger and they came back home, they couldn't come into the fold. Our priests were set aside. Nehemiah. So y'all, we want to get that understanding of what. And look, these were priests that was marrying strange women. It wasn't the fact that Israel was just marrying women. They knew what they was on. See, because the eyes was looking at the flesh more than what the interior was. You notice a Muslim woman, you got work to do. You got to disarm her of all her customs of her people before you can do anything with her. Give me that law, man, where if you see a woman of the captives. Yeah, that 21. Hold that before we go over here. Give me that Deuteronomy 21 because we got to understand what the laws are in completeness. If this nation is our enemy and we see one, there's some rules for it. The Most High is not y'all. He wasn't born yesterday. You think he didn't know what conditions we gonna find ourselves in here in America? You think he must have didn't know they were gonna be putting their foot on us like that? I'm clogged up with all this government cheese. He did this to us.
But then he sits down and says, let me see what's going to happen.
Right. Deuteronomy 21, verse 10. Deuteronomy 21, verse 10.
Book of Deuteronomy, chapter 21, verse 10. When thou goest forth to war against thine enemy,
Right.
and the Most High thy God hath delivered them into thine hand,
Right.
and thou hast taken them captive,
Right.
and seest among the captives a beautiful woman,
Right.
and has a desire unto her.
What do we have?
A desire.
Where else do we see this desire? Talking about like this. A strong appetite. A sexual appetite or craving. Just desire when you look it up. Go ahead, bro.
And sees among the captives a beautiful woman,
Right.
and has a desire unto her.
What kind of woman?
A beautiful woman.
A beautiful woman. So contrary to belief, yes, Israel got it, but other nations got some beautiful women. Hillary Clinton, Rosie O'Donnell.
Verse 11. And sees among the captives a beautiful woman, and has a desire unto her, that thou wouldest have her to thy wife.
Right? To thy what?
To thy wife.
See, this is talking about marriage. Right. This ain't talking about a roll in the hay. Go ahead.
12. Then shalt thou bring her home to thine house.
Right?
And she shall shave her head.
What's she gonna do?
Shave her head.
What does this got to do anything with desire? Go ahead.
And purr her nails.
Why? Because those were the things that you mimicked the God that you served. This is when the angels came down, it was the hair of the women. Those styles represent the God that they was worshiping. Cut the hair off. And not only that, but it's the woman's glory. So you strip her of whatever glory she had for this other God. And you cut off her nails. You know, women, what they go to the shop for? For what? Hair and what?
That's right.
It ain't just started today. That's right. Go ahead.
12. 13. And she shall put the raiment of her captivity from off her.
What's she gonna do with her raiment?
And she shall put the raiment of her captivity from off her.
See, it go into the winter clothes permanently. Not to come back out.
There's a movie called Kingdom of Heaven.
Right.
Yeah. It's during the Crusades or whatever, but Orlando Bloom played in, and when at the end, when he took that, because it was either they was going to be killed, they had to follow up under his leadership, this Christian dude. Right. So at the end, the princess was the only one left, because the princess just died and he was real sick. So she had to come under his cover. She had to take off her arm, shave her head.
See, it ain't nothing new. Look, the Most High put it right before you. See, Satan is an imitator. Satan ain't making up nothing. He just changing the rules of it. And adding wickedness to it. He keep all of his holy days close to yours. He just advertise his on TV so you look, if you see every day, you see all of the marks of the beast. You see this and you point that out on TV and you keep watching TV, don't you? You keep doing Facebook when you see, every time you do Google, they put on that rainbow, didn't they? What do you think that meant?
They support
That you know what they support, but you keep doing it and you get past that and stay in your righteousness. I'm going to use it for righteousness. I'm going to use it for righteousness. Now what they're doing is every TV show that comes on, they're going to keep showing a man kissing. You're going to do like this. And you're going to keep doing like every time that thing comes. Until they get you, either you're going to start watching TV, you're going to start reading the newspaper, or you're going to learn how to block that out.
Right.
And believe me, y'all, you don't want to get comfortable with seeing that on a regular basis.
Right.
And just walk past it like it ain't nothing. This is where they're saying, if you're going to play with our equipment, our games, if you're going to go to our school, this is what you got to deal with. Now, you get over that hurdle, then maybe you are a saint of the Most High. But y'all got to understand, every time we come out of here, that was a dominating spirit. You can't let it get to the point of where you accept it. I'm talking about if they say this, look, somebody come, you just tell them, look, I'm a practicing Christ follower who followed his father. His word is bond. I'm not here on me. Now, if you're asking me according to that doctrine, that's sin.
Yeah.
You in a safety zone at this point. They can't do nothing to you at this point. At this point, because they cannot get you, or Satan will never have you break the law of God through trickery, and then stand up at the throne and point you out. You don't think most I see that? You like say, come on now, you bringing free cases on this server. You free cases now. You done got that week. Maybe you ought to be ended now. How about now?
What he just said, South Park's this week's episode, which it'll come back on next Wednesday, was about what he just said. It was about these little Japanese girls who were painting pictures of two students who weren't gay, but they was portraying them as gay in these pictures. So everybody in the whole town believed that these two little boys was gay, and they weren't. So the thing was, because of society kept saying, you're gay, they couldn't figure it out. And one little boy said, well, I tell you what, if we pretend we gay, they'll leave us alone. See? So the rest of the episode, they walked around holding hands. They weren't gay, but they said, we got to do this.
That's a compromise.
Right. So society is the one who's dictating to you.
Compromise. See, that's a compromise, but that's not in the Most High's walk.
Right.
You can say, I don't agree with it.
When they stood up to say that they weren't, the whole town wasn't here. They like, oh no, y'all gay. And they're like, we're not gay.
Right.
Because y'all say we gay, y'all trying to make us gay. But see, what they had to do, they say, the way we get out of this, we'll just act like we gay.
Y'all want to know the real deal?
They fold.
That's right.
Yeah, but anytime you act, you take on the spirit.
Exactly.
What you got?
It was a movie also. I forgot the cat name. It was supposed to be a little comedy, but they, for insurance purposes, they had to play like they was, married to each other to get insurance. One day was a fireman.
I know what you're talking about. I seen that. I don't remember the name.
I forgot the name of the guy. He was popular.
Act like you got to get into
You got to get into
Jewish.
Right, but look, we got a real life event just in the Daily Mail this week. A boxer they call the Mac Attack.
Yeah.
They got him on Friend. His friend see him. He done got in a gay porn movie for $4,500.
Right.
He trying to come out now and say, look, they got the picture on there. He got his arm like this on two other naked Israelites. His friend saw the video of him in full. Now he's trying to say, I will slip some ecstasy. And when I woke up on the train, I had $4,500 in my pocket. And my rear end was itching like fire. Now he said they drugged me. When I went there, I saw naked women walking around. So regardless, you finna sell your soul for $4,500. You can reduce yourself to this level. All of them could have been AIDS.
Right.
And you raw dog. So you go from Mac Attack. That's what his handle was. To pack.
So he went from Mac Attack to Krispy Kreme.
I don't know how you put that together. But the bottom line is, y'all, he's trying to blame it on them, and they say we ain't blaming nothing. Because all his friends saw the video, he didn't even know it was out yet. And not only this, he was willfully into that pleasure. How long is $4,500 gonna last? If it's going out and nothing's coming back in, it's gonna be gone. And now you got to deal with this out here. Shalom, Elijah. Shalom, Josiah, Ben Israel. All right, go ahead. Y'all, we got to catch up, y'all. I'm going to roll through these right quick. Go ahead. Ruth 2:10. But y'all, we see that when you see one out of another nation and you did this among the wars, we at war with whatever nation and we at war with all nations, according to Psalm 83. If you see that there's got to be rules of the game so that you don't fall over now, yes, the law says stay where you're supposed to be. Even when a brother died, the order of the Holy Family. That order that brought Christ back into the fold, that killed that curse of John 9 on that side for David. You have to marry the same tribe to get rightful heir going back into your tribe. So yes, we understand that. But just like it said, if a man see this, we want to know if he just lusting after people of the nation, he gonna bring this down, or is he gonna do what that? He gonna wait it out in 30 days, let her mourn her family, get rid of everything. See, you're still doing the same thing. You're getting rid of all their altars. Solomon didn't do that.
Right.
He like, keep y'all altars, just do that dance again. You know what they singing out there, do that, pop, lock, and drop. And they kept on until he was overpowered. Ruth 2:10, y'all.
Ruth chapter 2, verse 10. Everybody there?
And the reason I'm pulling these scriptures is because you're going to get, well, those were all Israelites. Everybody you read were Israelites that was in a stranger.
Yeah, that's false.
Well, you're going to have some problems with that. Because if we got cleansed and we come out, how will you still call a stranger?
And how the laws of a stranger given to him.
Right.
We was all 12 tribes in the desert.
In the desert.
He ain't even had got to the point where the nation was split yet.
Right.
All the strangers, the law of the strangers in Numbers, referring to Israelite foreigners.
Right.
Who woke up and found out they were Israel.
Ain't that crazy? Then that would be us. We would still be called strangers. Right. We could be hollering folk tribe. Right. You niggas strange, you niggas better have a stranger tribe. On them jams.
I mean, the scriptures talk about, like how we became uncircumcised and we go to Maccabees and all that. We go away from our God and start doing heathen customs. We look at it as heathens. Right. So only in mindset it could be that.
Right.
But not by blood and DNA. That ain't what it is.
Absolutely.
But in mindset, we all heathens.
That's right.
Raised as heathens, worshiping pagans.
Right.
Pagan knowledge.
That's right.
So in mindset and culture, how we speak, think, we would dress, we would be there.
That's right.
But by DNA, that's not the case. You feel me? So he's saying that some people call Ruth, they address as a doctrine and address Ruth as an Israelite.
Right.
But the scripture says she a Moabite.
Right.
So where do we get all this in?
Right.
And this is before the nation was split.
Right.
So how is she an Israelite foreigner when the nation was split?
See y'all see that?
Don't make sense.
How is she a foreigner and the nations wasn't even split? You see ideas like that? That's that light clicked on move. You don't do that unless that light click on.
Right.
And you say long, you meditating over that. That's like stirring that soup and put just a little more pepper. Yeah, that's it right there. Go ahead, bro.
Ruth chapter 2, verse 10.
Go ahead.
Then she fell on her face and bowed herself to the ground.
Right.
And said unto him, Why have I found grace in thine eyes, that thou shouldest take knowledge of me, seeing I am a stranger?
Was she
a stranger?
See, there was no way that you call yourself a stranger. Paul called himself, he said, I'm a Roman. If we stop there, they'll get us on that. But you know what he said in Romans 9 and Romans 11? But I'm an Israelite of the tribe of Benjamin. I'm just a citizen here. Now, if she's saying I'm a Moabite citizen, then somewhere along the line, she's going to explain, but I am from the stock of Israel. Somewhere down the line, that's going to be brought back out. Like Paul brought out, because they just called me an Egyptian too. They'll point at that one. See that right there? Paul was an Egyptian. Nigga, you better come on back and eat. They'll get you that quick. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 11. And Boaz answered and said unto her.
Boaz is David's grandfather. Go ahead.
It hath fully been showed me all thou hast done unto thy mother-in-law since the death of thine husband.
Right.
And how thou hast left thy father and thy mother, and the land of thy nativity, and art come unto a people which thou knewest not before.
And you're talking about come to a people you know it's not. What do you mean you don't know who Israel? The whole world know who Israel is. The whole world know who Israel right now is. Guess who don't know? Israel don't know.
Read that something.
Go ahead.
Verse 12. The Lord recompenses thy work, and a full reward be given thee of the Lord God of Israel, under whose wings thou art come to trust.
Under whose wings thou art come to trust. So what you coming to trust under? What the Most High say about his wings in Psalms for us?
Secret place.
Secret place. That's where you come under this wing. You heard about Isaiah 9th chapter. You done heard about that wing, that Psalm 83. That everybody like to say around, it's just Psalm 83. But if the Lord is my shepherd, what do you really mean? 23rd Psalm. Thank you, brother. Well, y'all sharp there. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, verse 13. Then she said, let me find favor in thy sight, my Lord, for that thou hast comforted me, and for thou good hast spoken. Hold on, I can't you just go straight and start over?
Can you see it?
Yeah. Then she said, let me find favor in thy sight, my Lord, for thou hast comforted me, and for that thou hast spoken friendly unto thine handmaid, though I be not like unto one of thine handmaidens. And Boaz said unto her, at mealtime come thou hither, and eat of the bread, and dip thy morsel in the vinegar. And she sat beside the reapers, and he reached her parched corn, and she did eat, and was sufficed, and left.
So right here, y'all get into all of that, but what is 4th chapter now on the same thing?
Yeah, chapter 4.
But what you're seeing is here, she's taking the bread from him. He's now her husband, so to speak, because he provides her food.
Yeah.
At this point.
So now he needs witnesses,
Right.
some basically witnesses to prove that that's what he's doing. So Ruth chapter 4, like 1 to 10 or something like that.
You gonna get that?
Yeah.
Luke 4, 1 through 10.
And this proves that she's not an Israelite. Some folks teach that. You're bumping that online.
Right.
Ruth the Israelite. But the scripture don't even say that.
Then went Boaz unto the gate, and set him down there. And behold, the kinsman of whom Boaz spake came by, and whom he said, ho, such a one, turn aside, sit down here. And he turned aside and sat down. And he took 10 men of the elders of the city, and said, sit ye down here. And they sat down. And he said unto the kinsman, Naomi, that is come again out of the country of Moab, selleth a parcel of land, which was our brother Elimelech's. And I thought to advertise thee, saying, buy it before the inhabitants, and before the elders of my people. If thou wilt redeem it, redeem it. But if thou wilt not redeem it, then tell me, that I may know, for there is none to redeem it besides thee, and I am after thee. And he said, I will redeem it.
So he told old boy, lying to inherit Elimelech's property.
Right.
Right now, if you don't redeem it, I'm going to redeem it. Let me know what you want to do. You feel me? Because the inheritance went to the men.
That's right.
And they would take care of their mothers and sisters and all that.
That's right.
They ain't have no cover. So he basically let them know, if you ain't going to redeem this possession that's owned by Elimelech, he's dead now. Right? If you don't redeem it, I'm going to redeem it. All right?
So couldn't we say that's like somebody that has died and has a house, and it's supposed to go to the children, and they got multiple children, but say the eldest is the one that was supposed to receive it, but if he ain't got no job and can't pay no taxes, the one that's in the position in the family to say that if you ain't gonna get a job and take care of these taxes and stand to lose this house, just say no, and I'll take over and take care of it.
I mean, that's,
and I'll pay the taxes
you
for
had
the
modern
children in the family.
terminology. Like
Right.
they didn't have that problem then. They all
Right.
had
I'm
the
just
land
saying.
to go work, and that wouldn't have been the option.
Right.
It's all on transferring this property on down.
Right.
Either you gonna do it, if you don't claim it, I gotta claim it.
Right.
He gonna tell you what all it come with though. Go ahead.
All right. Verse 5. Then said Boaz, what day thou buyest the field of the hand of Naomi,
The day that you buy this property, go ahead.
thou must buy it also of Ruth the Moabitess, the wife of the dead, to raise up the name of the dead upon his
It's
inheritance.
like, look, this land comes with who? Ruth the Moabite. Right? Because she's her husband's possession. He's dead now. So all his possessions is about to go to the next inheritance in line. So it's like, well, look, do you know that that's Ruth also coming with it? Now let's see if this changes his mind. Because if she an Israelite, then it shouldn't be a problem.
Right.
All right, let's keep reading, bro.
Verse 6. And the kinsman said, I cannot redeem it for myself, lest I mar mine own inheritance.
See, I'm gonna destroy my inheritance, dude. See that? He like, no, I can't do it. First he all for it. Yeah, I got it. And he's like, well, no. Understand Ruth coming with that too. Well, no, I can't redeem it. I would mar or destroy my inheritance if I did that.
That's right.
That's his mindset, right? Come on.
Go ahead, bro.
Redeem thou my right to thyself, for I cannot redeem
You
it.
the next one in line, you take it.
Now this was the manner in former time, huh?
I was saying Shalom said.
Oh, okay. Now this was the manner in former time in Israel concerning redeeming and concerning changing.
Come on.
For to confirm all
This
things,
is how they signed their contracts, man.
Right.
All right, come on.
a man plucked off his shoe and gave it to his neighbor. And this was a testimony in Israel.
Daniel kick off them New Balance. He got
Yes, sir.
kick
Yeah,
off them
kick 'em
shoes.
off.
That's our contract. That's Daniel Solomon's shoe right there. That's
Right.
the proof that we exchanged something. Here's the proof of contract right here. It's a shoe.
Right.
That's how they got down back then. You give them something personal. All right, go ahead, bro.
Therefore the kinsman said unto Boaz, buy it for thee. So he drew off his shoe. And Boaz said unto the elders and unto all the people, ye are witnesses this day that I have bought all that was Elimelech's, and all that was Chilion's and Mahlon's of the hand of Naomi. Moreover, Ruth the Moabitess, the wife of Mahlon, have I purchased to be my wife,
She came with the possession.
That's right.
Have I purchased to be my wife? Come on.
to raise up the name of the dead upon his
That's
inheritance.
the purpose of it. You feel me? His family, Milan, needs a seed to continue his name
That's right.
in the earth. All right, come on, bro.
That the name of the dead be not cut off from among his brethren, and from the gate of his place. Ye are witnesses this day.
And
Y'all, that was more than the notion, y'all, to take that on.
Right.
You know. So we see here clearly Ruth the Moabitess as a stranger brought back into the fold under certain laws and requirements. It's just not, you just can't go over there and decide, well, I can just do it. No, you are stripping them so that when they come into this body, it's still one body. You cannot join with a harlot. You know why? Because there's another leg on the line. Rufus visits on Tuesday. You come with flowers on Thursday and Friday.
Here's, we're going down to 12. And all the people that were in the gate and the elders said, we are witnesses. The Lord make the woman that is coming to thine house like Rachel and like Leah.
Hold on, like who?
Like Rachel and like
So she
Leah.
can't be an Israelite.
Right.
She would already be like Rachel.
Right. Right.
She would descend from one of them.
Right.
All right, go ahead, bro.
Which two did build the house of Israel, and do thou worthily in Ephratah, and the famous in Bethlehem, and let thy house be like the house of Perez, whom Tamar bare unto Judah, of the seed which the Lord shall give thee of this young woman.
Right. See, y'all have to understand, Tamar, who we buried this, y'all, it got some Canaanite mixed up in there against the rules. But the Most High say, if you keep my law supersedes everything. And it's a way to get it back in order. But you have to obey me to get it back in order. You can't make it come back the way you want it to come back, or you're going to have problems. Now, does this mean like it ain't going to be no problem in the land where you at? Yes, there are going to be problems if you decide to do this. There's going to be problems when you walk through the mall. There's going to be problems, it's going to be jokes, but these jokes started in Egypt. See, the joke was about black people. Look, if you had a child that was dark skinned, I'm talking about dark. This is where these Egyptians were. The one like Yul Brynner that you see coming up on the Ten Commandments.
Yul Brynner.
No, these were black, Hamitic Africans. Super dark skinned. If they walk past a bag of charcoal, it'll say, Dad? Black! Whoa, yeah. Let's move on to the next one. 1 Kings 8:41. Y'all gonna move through what's right up on the board. 1 1 Kings 8:41 through 43, y'all. We're going to roll through these, y'all, while we got this last 15 minutes, and then I'm just going to, all of the strange God's fire water or one-liners, and then we're going to tie it all into a bowl. And we're going to see how what strange really is what whenever you come, but we'll never violate the law. It's like we'll never tell nobody you ain't got to do the law or the Most High. We ain't telling nobody to break the Sabbath. We'll never tell nobody that, but we'll tell you the script say handle your business so you can continue to do the work of the law. John 5:17, they got mad at the Messiah because he said, my Father always working. What do you think that means? He said, I do work. I do work on the Sabbath. I do good works on the Sabbath. Now, if you taking off for some tomfoolery, you want to do a little heat on and don't want to keep the day holy, then we understand that we'll never speak against that. But we don't compromise nothing down here, no law, statutes, and judgments. The Most High put things in place so you won't be with or try to have an excuse on the day of judgment. What about Zehoshaphat and them? You didn't try that? No, Lord. What about Boaz and Ruth? You didn't come with that? No, Lord. Why? Y'all know how that why means. Every answer that I'm even conjuring up, he gonna know what's in it. Go ahead.
You're reading from the book of 1 Kings, chapter 8, verse 41.
And see, this is going to tie into that 1 Kings 11, man, I pulled a little bit earlier. That this is, we're going to see that what Solomon, how he broke that 11 and what got into it. Go ahead, brother.
Moreover, concerning a stranger.
Concerning who?
A stranger that is not of thy people Israel.
So we see here, no matter how they slice it, all 12 tribes was intact at this point. This is Solomon's kingdom. All 12 tribes are intact. So you can't say every time you see the word stranger, it meant a wandering Israelite. Go ahead.
But cometh out of a far country for thy name's sake. For they shall hear of thy great name and of thy strong hand.
See, that was what was that queen name? The Queen of Sheba. She came because she heard of his great name. They heard about it. I heard about you Israelites. Go ahead.
And of thy stretched out arm.
Right.
When he shall come and pray toward this house.
Do what?
When he shall come and pray toward this house.
So he's following the rules of prayer that man talked about earlier. The stranger, slow y'all say. The stranger have to get down. They can't come into our fold and change the rules. If it's 15 to get on board on dominoes, you gonna let somebody after you get 2 houses put a 5 down? No. Unless you feel sorry for him. Well, the Lord don't feel sorry for breaking his laws. He puts down mercy and judgment. That ain't feeling sorry. Go ahead.
Verse 43. Hear thou in heaven thy dwelling place, and do according to all that the stranger calleth to thee for.
That do all that who called it for thee to do for?
That the stranger calleth to thee for.
Is this a wandering Israelite that this one is talking about? Or just talking about all nations coming up? See, y'all, so we have to understand that what the Most High say, what spirit get down with me is part of my fold, but they have to know who's the natural branch and who's the wild olive branch. The natural branch was right there when Solomon was putting it down. He said, if a wild olive branch come up and is willing to turn toward this plate and don't turn it to holding hands in a circle, then I'll hear their cause and heal their land. The same thing, Zechariah 14, if these nations don't come up and they get no what? Rain. So who rules are they following these nations? You can hold that. Did you get to 43?
Yeah, that was 43.
Okay, Leviticus 19:33. Y'all, we're going to speed through these last few that got on the board, and then we're just going to run through right, and we'll be finishing right on time.
Dan, you got Isaiah 56 up there? Isaiah 56.
Man. Go on the law of strength.
Oh, yeah.
Leviticus 12, I got, should have two. I got 22. Let's see. Go ahead, y'all. Leviticus 19:33, I'm getting ready out.
We read from the book of Leviticus, chapter 19, verse 33.
Right.
And it says, and if a stranger sojourn with thee in your land, ye shall not vex him.
We should not do what?
Vex
What
him.
does vex mean?
Oppressor.
What was Lot and Sodom and Gomorrah?
Vexed.
He was vexed there. You know what they were doing when Lot would be reading scriptures? Two of the same DNA and persuasion, so to speak, would just run right in front of them. One of bent over and they just do ungodly things in front of them. And he had to just keep on reading. For the Sodomite day is coming. Y'all don't they do the same thing now? You be standing out there, you don't think when the brothers out there, they was mocking? One turned around and bent over his rear end to him. And bro lost it. Because he was an Israelite and he was being led around by an Edomite. He said, he been for unlawful calling knowledge of you for 400 years, now you're going to let him do it in public. And he kind of stood up straight. But this is what they want to lash out back at you at your God. And you got to be careful, y'all, that you stay focused so that they shame come back on them. And it don't come back on you. But y'all, it's just starting to get going. You got one or two choices. Quit watching TV, quit listening to movies, quit looking at everything, because guess what? They finna run their campaign of the same sex. In everything you buy, you move, or you do, you finna be vexed in your spirit. And this is how they're gonna push this agenda in here. We're gonna make you get comfortable with it. And once you get comfortable with it, you're gonna have to start explaining why you still watching. To a newcomer. What you got, bro?
Yeah, that's what the guy that's producing empire said. He said,
Yeah.
you want to try and make sure that all the blacks get over their homophobia.
Y'all hear that? Now, what is this choice we got to do? Do not turn it on that channel on Wednesday night. But who we fooling? When they show the ratings, they gonna be right there in the hood. Well, if they watching that, whatever you watching, you like what they going to do, you say, shit, what you gonna do? Say, well, that ain't real, it's a cartoon. It's the real deal. It's the real deal, because we just want it up here. We want you to get comfortable with same sex. And we want you to give it a pass in your mental. We want you to say ain't nothing wrong with it. Go ahead, bro. And strange flesh become what it will in your mindset now. You just a lie for it. Go ahead, bro.
We'll do 33 again.
Uh-huh.
And if a stranger sojourn with thee in your land, ye shall not vex him.
Uh-huh.
But the stranger that dwelleth with you shall be unto you as one born among you.
Right.
And thou shalt love him as thyself.
See, that's hard with a lot of nations when you've been beat up by a nation. But that's because we don't want to accept what we did.
Right.
Look, they didn't just come get us. If you think we was just sitting around twiddling thumbs and digging sand from betwixt our toes and, is that a ship out there? Y'all want to go get on it and see what it is? And they just captured us like this. No, ain't a nation on this earth was able to do that. The Most High brought us down because of our disobedience. Go ahead, brother.
For ye were strangers in the land of Egypt.
What was we?
In the land of Egypt.
Look, you don't think that Egyptian that said Moses on high on the day of judgment, the Lord ain't going to recall to him how you set up the land of Goshen? Have y'all read, when y'all get the book of Jasher, y'all read in the 46th chapter on down to the 52nd chapter of how we were set up in Goshen. You know that had to piss them other Egyptians off the way we was living in there. He said, don't forget about that. Just don't forget about that. It's some that still feel the same way. They ain't going away. You need them, those will be your handmaids and servants in the kingdom. But you ain't gonna have a Hitler as your servant. John Brown. You think Cornelius, Acts 10th chapter. You think this is, but these are accepting what comes under the shadow of the wings. They the promised seed. They tributary. I'm tributary to them. That ain't hard. Because if it was the other way around, we have to accept it. We have to accept it. Let's read some more. Where we at?
I am the Lord, your father.
Where we at today?
Verse 35.
34. I just wanted to Leviticus 22:10. Y'all, we're going to speed through this because I got 4 on this time. We're going to end up, we should have finished right on time. Who's that laughing? I'm going to say, yeah, that's it. You know better. Yeah.
Leviticus chapter 22, verse 10.
What it say?
There shall no stranger eat of the holy thing, a sojourner of the priest, or an hired servant shall not eat of the holy thing. But if the priest buy any soul with his money, he shall eat of it. And he that is born in his house, they shall eat of his meat. If the priest's daughter also be married unto a stranger.
Married unto a who?
A stranger.
We're in the wilderness at this point of coming out. Who was the priest's daughter married to? Right here. Israel know who Israel is, all 12 tribes here, ain't it? It says the priest's daughter been married to a stranger. They could have been married before we come out of Egypt. You know what I'm saying? Before, at the time, and that Egyptian said, I'm going with y'all. You ain't leaving me back here. And he came out like Uriah the Hittite with Bathsheba. Go ahead.
If the priest's daughter also be married unto a stranger, she may not eat of an offering of the holy thing.
Right.
But if the priest's daughter be a widow or divorced and have no child, and is returned unto her father's house, as in her youth,
right,
she shall eat of her father's meat.
So y'all see what's happening here. He's saying because priests have to really be set apart. High priests, they have to be set apart. So to make sure the priest line is not damaged. Because look, every Levite couldn't be a high priest. Only the sons of Aaron and Kohath. Moses wasn't a high priest. We have to understand that Aaron was in his lineage. So he's giving priest order about the stranger, and if he have a daughter that's married to a stranger. When she come back to your house, she can't come back to your house eating like this unless she's a widow. Now I'm your husband again, like it was before you went and got married. Then you can eat. But we can't cause problems here. We can't mix the holy fiber according to the priesthoods. It's a separation here. These are the off limits right here. So it's telling you off limit lines as well when it comes down to the priest. Go ahead.
But there shall no stranger eat thereof.
You go, when you at verse what?
14.
Okay, go ahead.
And if a man eat of the holy thing unwittingly, then he shall put the 5th part thereof unto it, and shall give it unto the priest with the holy thing. And they shall not profane the holy things of the children of Israel, which they offer unto the Lord.
So right here, we got to be careful of that because we're coming out of Egypt and she's married to a stranger. Her father was a priest. So this is beforehand. So he's giving the rules if this had happened. Y'all, like a lot of us come into the fold when we were already married to something. Whether it's another religion or a woman of another faith. Like married when we were Christianity, both of us was in the doctrine of Christianity. Well, one of us found out the truth. Now the battle is in your household and both of y'all are Israelites. So you got a spiritual stranger living with you now. Or you gonna get over that hurdle, it's gonna get rough. Because things gonna change, variance gonna come in. We can't do that one no more. Or you gonna fold. after a shower and soaks us in spots and you gonna cower out? Or you gonna stand firm? Let's read some more.
Right.
Numbers 15, 14. Y'all, we got a couple more y'all need to hit these out. We're gonna close out. Numbers 15, 14. Y'all, these are the laws of the stranger. The Most High got laws for everything. All things are lawful, but they're not expedient.
That's a 16.
Yeah. Go 16.
Yeah, it's a 16.
Okay, yeah, hit that then. Leviticus, oh, you saying, numbers? Yeah, I got that up there. Numbers 15, 14 through 16.
I had 15 and 16 highlighted, so I read it. I'm like, that makes sense.
No, I got that up there. Go ahead, y'all. Let's read on.
Says start at 14.
Yeah.
Numbers 15, verse 14.
Right.
And if a stranger sojourn with you,
Right.
or whosoever be among you in your generations, and will offer an offering made by fire of a sweet savor unto the Most High, as ye do, so he shall do.
So we got righteous way to offer fire to the Lord. Now when we hit these strange, we're going to see that some priests offer some strange fire. You can offer strange fire? Go ahead.
One ordinance shall be both for you of the congregation, and also for the stranger that sojourneth with you, an ordinance forever in your generation.